They used a monster to kill my parents. The memory of the culprit standing in the rain was still deeply etched in his mind. The pain didn't stop there. They forced me into crushing debt. His body was mercilessly tormented. And then, they repeated the nightmare. They even tried to kill me the same way they killed my parents, suspended between life and death. A bitter question echoed. Must I die silently like an ant? But deep within the despair, an unusual light flickered in his bloodshot eyes. Helplessness turned into extreme rage. Why is my life controlled by these scumbags? A dark power awakened from the abyss of his soul. A mechanical voice echoed. Shadow system. Activated. The new power was also a bloody vow. All the scumbags and monsters who killed my family, I won't spare a single one. His rage erupted into a declaration of war. I'll drag all of you to hell. The enemy's blood stained his face, but his eyes were colder than ever. Ants crushed in the mud are precisely the monsters capable of gnawing away at thrones. July 1st. The week's revenge begins, as darkness devours everything. He stood atop a mountain of enemy corpses, a king of the night, a confident smirk. He whispered, "Remember to like and bookmark the previous page." But before he had this power, he was just a man pushed to the wall. Just because your parents died doesn't mean you don't have to pay the debt. A father's debt is paid by his son. You have to pay the rest. Choking with indignation, he screamed the harsh truth. My parents died mining for you. You should be compensating me. Why should I pay? Another memory flooded back, of a life or death gamble. He was forced to become a test subject, carrying the faint hopes of others. As long as you awaken successfully, there's still a glimmer of hope for us. Even if the odds are 1 in 1,000, someone has to take the risk. And in his most desperate moment, that question echoed again, not as defiance, but as a heart-wrenching cry. Why me? Mid-air, his body fell freely. Bitter words poured out, aimed at those who had pushed him to his death. You're afraid to die, but I'm the one who has to die? The impact sent him crawling on the cold ground, blood seeping from his wounds. But his will was not yet extinguished. Raising his head, he faced the creature that had cornered him. A roar of resentment burst from his throat. Why me? The only response was a brutal attack. A devastating punch slammed into his body, crushing all hope. Why do I have to endure all of this? The monstrous hand squeezed him tight, helplessness rising to its peak. Just because I'm weak? But in that life or death moment, despair turned into rage. So what if I'm weak? Who decided the weak must die in silence? His pupils flared with an unusual light as a mechanical notification echoed. System linking with unidentified creature. Analyzing data. The linking process completed. Shadow system activated. And the story of the one who had just stood on the brink of life and death began here. My name is Li Yi, a seasoned multi-dimensional miner. Li Yi's job was to don protective gear, risking his life to extract energy stones in another dimension. The manager smiled with satisfaction. This month isn't bad. At this rate, you might pay off your parents' debt in about another year. He patted Li Yi's shoulder, painting a distant future. Work another 3 to 5 years, and you might even buy a small apartment. Li Yi could only force a smile in response. Yes, I'll continue to work hard. But as soon as he turned away, the smile on Li Yi's face vanished. Heartless capitalist. Once I pay off this debt and get out of here. He gritted his teeth. Tell me to work another 3 to 5 years. Why don't you go do it yourself? This was the price of the job. Exposure to radiation in multi-dimensional zones gave ordinary people a 1 in 1,000 chance of awakening, but it was also deadly. In the transport vehicle, amidst the silent figures in protective suits, a harsh truth was evident. If not for life's coercion, who would choose this job? The conversation of the other miners soon turned to Li Yi. The person you mentioned, is that him? The one whose parents died in an accident 3 years ago? They revealed his tragedy. Not only did he not receive compensation, but he was also forced to bear a debt. One person sighed. That's right. Back then, the NG Corporation insisted his parents caused millions of dollars in losses. Poor kid. But the person next to him dismissed it. What's there to pity? I just think he's too weak. If it were me, I'd take a risk with the corporation to demand justice. The obese man sneered. I thought you were going to say make them pay with their lives. The miner opposite him replied with a brutally pragmatic tone. Are you stupid? They're dead. What good is a life for a life? Better to earn some money than. Amidst the discussions about weakness, Li Yi's eyes flashed with a cold blue light. Weak? Sometimes, people become weak not because of themselves, but because this world has gone too mad. In a desolate canyon, a team of miners entered a dark cave. Everything's ready. Let's start working. The ground suddenly shook violently, making the miners stumble. One person screamed in panic. Is the cave collapsing? The supervisor brushed aside his subordinate's fear. Collapsing my ass. It's just a minor aftershock. I've never heard of earthquakes in other dimensions before, but the other miners couldn't hide their worry. That's right. I've worked in many areas. Never heard of this. Could it be the monsters? Fear began to spread. Maybe we shouldn't work here. I heard this place once had humanoid extra-dimensional creatures. They're even tougher than insectoids and beasts. Seeing the crowd waver, the supervisor pulled out a knife and growled. Everyone, shut up. This area was cleared by an awakened person 3 years ago. That's impossible. Before he could finish his threat, a sharp claw pierced his chest from behind. Fresh blood splattered. The remaining miners froze, horrified witnesses to the unbelievable scene. Li Yi also looked up, horror evident in the depths of his eyes. Blood stained the face of an unfortunate miner. And then, the extra-dimensional monster revealed itself, along with its minions, surrounding the desperate humans. A bloody massacre began. Desperate screams echoed everywhere. Run, hurry! Li Yi ran headlong, but a giant monster was right behind him. Hope of survival slowly faded. We're more than 10 kilometers from the exit. Despair was etched deep in Li Yi's eyes. Can we truly escape? The monsters were right on their heels. This situation was completely beyond their ability to cope. Before he could finish speaking, a devastating impact sent Li Yi flying. His body slammed hard into the rock face, creating a horrifying dent. Li Yi scrambled to his feet, a fit of coughing erupting from his chest. Just then, a military truck roared to life. Start the car. Wait for me. But the truck didn't stop, abandoning Li Yi, who desperately cried out. Take me with you. Suddenly, a giant shadow landed on the truck's roof, sharp claws plunging into the windshield. The grotesque creature tore through the glass, sowing terror in the cockpit. Desperate cries for help were drowned out by an earth-shattering explosion. From a distance, Li Yi watched in shock as the monster lunged towards the people in the truck bed. Immediately after, the entire truck exploded in a sky-high inferno. The pressure from the explosion made Li Yi dizzy. But amidst the sea of fire, it wasn't human screams, but the pained roars of monsters that echoed. A thought flashed through Li Yi's mind. Is fire their weakness? His eyes gleamed with determination. Worth a try. Just as another monster charged, a panicked shout rang out. Damn it, another one on the right. Without hesitation, Li Yi lunged to dodge the attack. His objective clear. His hand snatched a half-burnt log from the ground. The weapon was in his hand. All right. With 2 blazing torches, Li Yi roared a challenge. Get out! Just as he thought. The creatures froze, recoiling from the flames. A glimmer of hope appeared. Li Yi shouted, relaying the most crucial discovery at that moment. Everyone listen! These things are afraid of fire. 10 years ago, mysterious gates suddenly appeared, bringing monsters from other dimensions to Earth. Only awakened high-tier entities possessed the power to fight them, ushering in a new era of exploration and energy. But that was the story of heroes. As for them, they were just ordinary people, struggling to survive. Hurry up! Following Li Yi's command, everyone hastily gathered anything flammable, creating a makeshift ring of fire. But the nascent hope quickly faded as a desperate man watched his torch flicker out. Immediately, Li Yi pointed out an escape route. The storage room. There's gasoline in there. We can use fire to block the entrance until reinforcements arrive. At the signal, the group immediately tightened their formation. Back to back. Form a circle and retreat slowly. They reached the storage area. The temporary fire circle kept the monsters at a safe distance. Good. Quick, pour the gasoline at the entrance. A supervisor's voice was hoarse with tension. Understood. Immediately, a barrel was mercilessly kicked over. The flammable liquid spread across the ground, forming a final defensive line. Throw them. At the signal, the blazing torches were hurled straight forward. A monster's claw swiped past, just inches from the incoming flames. A wall of fire erupted fiercely, engulfing the charging creatures amidst their savage roars. Behind the sea of fire, the old supervisor placed a hand on Li Yi's shoulder, his voice full of gratitude. Li Yi. Thank you. The other survivors also sighed in relief, finding a temporary resting spot. If it weren't for you, we'd all be dead out there. But Li Yi's gaze did not relax. He suddenly noticed something unusual, his eyes fixed on a giant, bizarre statue lying in the bed of a truck. This statue, the supervisor explained. We found it in the mine a long time ago. It's probably something Supervisor Wang was planning to smuggle out and sell on the black market. Just then, static crackled from the walkie-talkie, interrupting their conversation. Sector 7, respond if you hear me. Hope flared on their tired faces. Someone hastily grabbed the walkie-talkie, shouting into it. Sector 7 reporting. We are under attack by humanoid creatures. Urgent reinforcements needed. The answer from the other end was both a promise and a death sentence. Reinforcements will arrive in about 2 hours. Everyone's faces turned pale. Can't it be sooner? The desperate man called again. but only a deadly silence from the walkie-talkie answered him. A deadly silence enveloped the group in orange protective suits. Hope vanished, and fear began to speak. What do we do? The protective suits only have enough energy for another hour and a half, a desperate man exclaimed. Damn it, maybe we should just drive away. Even one survivor is better than waiting to die. Li Yi listened silently, his expression growing heavier. He looked down at his wrist, the screen showing only 6% energy remaining. Energy is running out. I hope reinforcements arrive soon. Noticing the chaos slowly getting out of control, Li Yi spoke up. Everyone, stop for a moment. Listen to me. But a man cut him off, his voice as cold as ice. Our protective suits won't last. In this situation, someone has to be sacrificed. His eyes and those of his cronies were fixed on Li Yi. Like the old folks, or orphans for example. He stepped forward, brandishing a wooden plank menacingly. You have no attachments, and you're burdened with debt. Living would only bring more suffering. His rough hand grabbed Li Yi's helmet. So, how about you give me your suit's battery? A heavy blow landed on Li Yi as he tried to resist. Still want to fight back? Do you think you're strong enough? Knocked to the ground, Li Yi helplessly watched the people surrounding him. Resist. Let's see what you can do. They held him down, one of them smirking maliciously. Let me help you. Who knows, maybe if you get exposed to radiation, you'll awaken. Then you'll be our savior. The protective suit was torn open. Hatred flared in Li Yi's eyes. You bastards. If I awaken, the first ones I kill will be you. The threat was met only with scorn. The awakening rate is 1 in 1,000. Do you think you're that lucky? They ripped the power cell from his suit. We've got another battery. Leaving Li Yi coughing violently, the leader hoisted a pickaxe onto his shoulder, scanning the remaining people. All right, who's next to try awakening? In the chaos, selfishness surged. A supervisor pushed a comrade away as a shield. Take theirs, not mine. He frantically rushed towards the military truck, seeking the only way out. Behind him, angry shouts rang out. Get him! Despite the shouts, the supervisor managed to climb into the truck. Stop right there, sitting behind the wheel, his face contorted in extreme despair. Damn it. If we're going to die, we'll die together. But before the truck could even move, a colossal shadow landed directly on its bed, crushing all hope. The strange creature swung its arm, sending a supervisor flying. The leader frantically yelled, Stop it! If it breaks through the fire barrier at the entrance, we're all dead. Too late. The last defensive barrier had been breached. It broke the fire barrier. The humanoids are pouring in. Amidst the hellish scene, Li Yi lay sprawled on the ground, looking up with a bitter smile. Are you laughing? His question was directed at the grotesque stone statue, which bared its sharp teeth as if mocking everything. Even this damn stone statue is mocking me? Just then, another creature emerged from the shadows, charging straight towards Li Yi. He looked up at the colossal, blood-stained creature towering before him, a question bursting from the depths of his soul. Why? In a fit of rage, Li Yi rose up, grabbing the monster's arm. Why do I have to endure all of this? His only reply was a piercing stab. The extreme physical pain awakened the mental anguish that had been suppressed for so long. Is it just because I'm weak? Memories flooded back. The distorted faces of relatives surrounded Li Yi, uttering bitter words. Get out. Your parents are dead. Don't expect us poor relatives to raise you. The scene changed. A torrential rain poured down. Li Yi was once again driven away, collapsing before the cold-blooded debt collectors. Are you crazy? You want to investigate the corporation that caused your parents' deaths? The man crumpled the complaint letters, throwing them directly at Li Yi's face. These are all the letters you sent. They all end up back with me. You don't want compensation, you want the truth. Fine, I'll give you the truth. The truth he spoke was a venomous slander. The truth is, your trash parents violated regulations and caused the accident. Not only will we not compensate you, but we're also suing you for the millions of dollars in damages they caused the company. Under the freezing rain, Li Yi's hands clenched tightly, veins bulging with indignation and helplessness. A devastating punch sent Li Yi sprawling. I told you, if you had signed the compensation agreement and taken those tens of thousands, things wouldn't have come to this. You're the one who demanded the truth. The man continued to threaten. Now I'll be in charge of collecting your debt, 30,000 inches interest each month, with the principal paid off in 3 years. On the 15th of every month, I'll send someone over. If you don't have the money, don't blame us for being cruel. Seeing Li Yi's pathetic state, the man sneered. You look truly pitiful, so I'll give you a way out. Go work as a space miner. That's the only job where you might have a chance to pay off your debt. And that way out led to this hell. A shadow creature tore open the supervisor's chest. In his dying breath, he still roared, We're all gonna die anyway. Even if I die, I won't make it easy for you. Witnessing the brutal scene, Li Yi's eyes blazed with fury. So what if I'm weak? Who says the weak must silently accept death? But the resistance of the weak was meaningless. Another monster with blood-red claws easily flung the supervisor's body away. Li Yi also couldn't escape his fate. Blood dripped from the wound on his chest, his mind slowly fading. The smell of this monster is truly disgusting. Just then, another shadow entity, more majestic and terrifying, appeared from nothingness, seizing Li Yi. I thought you would unlock some potential. Turns out it's just meaningless struggling before death. Even with his chest pierced, Li Yi still sneered. At least I bit it. What about you? Just a useless statue, crushed by that monster as if it were nothing. The shadow entity wasn't angry, its voice full of temptation. Right now, I am the only one who can save you. All you have to do is obediently hand over this body to me. But the reply to that offer was in gaze of utter hatred. I'm not interested. I'd rather die than be controlled, especially by an ugly monster like you. The shadow entity's gleeful laughter echoed. Ha 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 ha. Rather die than submit, huh? The shadow entity roared in disdain. Fool, do you think you have the right to refuse? But just as it lunged, a chilling notification appeared. Shadow system activated. Suddenly, the attacker froze. Its three eyes widened, revealing extreme astonishment at the unforeseen development. A fierce surge of dark energy erupted from Li Yi's own body, knocking back the would-be usurper in a powerful counterattack. From within the shadows, a new form emerged. It was still Li Yi, but now enveloped in a layer of dark armor. He glanced at the stone statue creature that had been defeated earlier, the one who just crushed my statue. That was you, wasn't it, little ant? The voice was full of authority and hatred. I hold grudges for a long time. A massive energy orb formed in his hand, ready to destroy everything. The stone statue creature let out a final defiant roar, but it was met only with Li Yi's cold indifference. He glided like a ghost, easily dodging the monster's desperate attack. Too noisy. With that, a destructive energy blast shot from Li Yi's palm. Begone. The stone statue creature's screams were drowned out as it was engulfed by the dark light and sent flying towards the horizon. Without a moment's pause, Li Yi turned to the shadow entity that had just been knocked back, delivering a clean, finishing blow. He stood on the remnants of his enemy, his face showing clear disgust. This stench is truly disgusting. Now, Li Yi's attention turned to the remaining individuals. A supervisor trembled, trying to muster courage to threaten. Li Yi, what are you doing? If you dare touch me, I'll report you. That threat only piqued his interest further. I'm truly curious. If I return this body to you, what will you do? Tendrils of shadow reached out, binding the panicking group. They desperately pleaded. Spare us, we're just trying to survive. The supervisor tried to justify, his voice full of urgency. Besides, without us, you wouldn't have become an evolved being. Yes, perhaps we were a bit heavy-handed. But you've awakened now, haven't you? That justification only earned a cold gaze from Li Yi. Oh? So now I should thank you? No need to thank us. Just pretend nothing happened and let us go. The supervisor quickly chimed in, his voice fawning. Yes, but Li Yi only sneered, the shadows around him surging more violently. Not only will I let you go, I'll also lend a hand. Before he finished speaking, shadow tentacles lashed directly at the faces of the group. The blow made them cough up blood, staring in horror at the one they had just tormented. Li Yi! You! He didn't kill, only punished. 3 fell, leaving only 2 trembling. 1 stammered a plea. Don't kill me. I didn't do anything. Li Yi ignored the plea, simply giving a cold command. Their batteries are yours now. 2 energy blocks were immediately placed on the ground. Just then, a shadow entity detached itself from Li Yi's own shadow, whispering into his ear. Put away your useless pity. It will only get you killed. The ghostly voice echoed as it writhed around Li Yi's body. Li Yi snapped, walking towards the cave entrance. Shut up, I don't need your lectures. Let's see if you're still so bold when death is near. But just as he stepped out of the cave, a horrifying sight appeared. An entire legion of shadow monsters was roaring, waiting. Anomalies? The shadow entity reappeared, its tone full of mockery. I didn't expect it to be so crowded outside. Hand over control of your body to me, or clean up this mess yourself. It continued to provoke, seeing Li Yi's legs trembling. Your legs are already shaking just from this small fry? Think carefully. Without my power, you are nothing. Despite the taunts, Li Yi decisively stomped on the claw of the charging monster. I said, I don't need your lectures. The powerful kick sent the monster flying, a fierce declaration of war against both the external enemies and the internal entity. Li Yi launched an attack, surprised to find his body unusually light. The kick landed, and the recoil force pushed Li Yi backward. The shadow monster roared in anger, but Li Yi landed steadily, his gaze sharp. At that very moment, Li Yi's pupils flashed with a cold blue light. Without giving his opponent a chance to recover, Li Yi lunged forward, delivering a devastating punch. His body moved flexibly, easily dodging counterattacks. Even my reflexes and speed have increased significantly. In the midst of battle, a voice echoed from the depths, disparaging Li Yi's weakness. Even with the shadow system bound to you, is this all you can do? Pathetic. The provocation caused the rage within Li Yi to explode, his eyes turning a mesmerizing purple. Let me shut you up, Li Yi roared, putting all his strength into the kick, sending the monster flying. Looking at his hand enveloped in dark energy, Li Yi wondered, why has my power increased so much? But Li Yi quickly realized a truth. Attacking with bare hands alone isn't enough to truly damage them. If only I had a weapon. The thought had just flashed, and dark energy immediately gathered in Li Yi's palm. From the mass of energy, a sharp dagger gradually took shape. Is this a dagger made of shadows? Gripping his new weapon, Li Yi faced the charging monster. Let's see if it suits you. In a flash, Li Yi darted past the enemy, the shadow blade plunging deep into its back, clean and deadly. Li Yi smirked, his sharp eyes flashing with a deadly confidence. So, I can also kill these aberrations. Two other shadow monsters loomed into existence, but Li Yi didn't flinch. Have I become an evolver? One monster swung its claws, but Li Yi was a step faster, deftly dodging. The shadow blade in his hand retaliated instantly, carving a deadly arc. Trapped amidst a whirlwind of enemies, Li Yi did not retreat. Veins bulging, he roared in fury. Finally, I have the power to fight back. The monster's black blood splattered across the ground. A sharp-clawed arm fell, twitched, then lay still. In the middle of the battlefield, Li Yi threw his head back and laughed maniacally, covered in blood. Monster corpses lay scattered at his feet. Suddenly, a notification appeared. Evolution successful. Li Yi, human, rank E. The scene shifted to a hospital room. Li Yi lay unconscious on the bed, monitored by a doctor and a nurse. No injuries, no illness, all vitals normal. Why hasn't he woken up? The doctor wondered. That's normal for an ascender. The nurse seemed very excited. Wow, he's an ascender. What rank, I wonder? The doctor smiled in response. So eager? Just wait until he wakes up, then you'll know. The doctor left, but the nurse lingered. Just a little longer. He's so handsome. Just then, a purple shadow entity hovered over Li Yi. The shadow entity observed Li Yi, its tone full of condescension. Why must it be a human? And a lowly rank E at that. With his current status and talent, at most he can only become a rank D shadow swordsman. It continued its monologue, but Li Yi wasn't asleep. He suddenly opened his eyes, staring straight into the void. You again? What exactly are you? Why do you keep clinging to me? In response to Li Yi's question, the shadow entity spoke with arrogance. Hear me clearly, lowly human. I am one of the ancient supreme entropy quenchers, ruler of the outer realms. I command you to offer your body. But Li Yi merely smirked, his eyes full of skepticism. Right? Ancient Supreme? Entropy Quencher? Never heard of it. You're just making things up. Something like a cockroach? No way I'm giving my body to something so black and ugly. The insult was like a whip lashing directly at its pride. The shadow entity roared in anger, reaching out to grab Li Yi. Cockroach? Black and ugly? How dare a puny human? Enough talk. Offer your body. That is the only reason you exist. Gripped tightly, Li Yi showed no panic. His thoughts began to drift in an unexpected direction. Why is it clinging to me? Could it be? It desires my beauty? This guy is mentally unstable, but if he tries to force me, I can handle it. The shadow entity froze, as if it could hear Li Yi's chaotic thoughts. Or should I threaten it with death? Or explain that we're not meant for each other? But what if it goes berserk? Together to hell, souls intertwined. The patience of an ancient being finally shattered before the insane train of thought. It roared, shaking off Li Yi's bizarre fantasies. Enough! What the hell are you thinking? It grabbed Li Yi, its tone shifting from arrogant to bitter. Why did I have to choose a rank E? If the situation weren't urgent, I'd rather pick an old dog than this trash. With that, the shadow entity hurled Li Yi into a chaotic energy vortex, its voice echoing like a curse. 3 days! If you don't reach rank D within 3 days, I will erase you completely. Li Yi fell into a dark, damp cave, utterly bewildered. Huh? Wasn't I in the hospital? The shadow entity explained. This is my clan's insect nest, a trial for rank E, inside the gate of the outer realms. From a dark crevice in the rock wall, a pair of red eyes glowed brightly. Each member of the Skyborn clan can only attempt this trial once after reaching adulthood. Because you are possessing me, it has reset my number of attempts. A giant beetle with steel-hard armor crawled out of the darkness. Li Yi was surprised when the name Shield Beetle automatically appeared in his mind. The shadow system I granted you reads from my knowledge base. You'll get used to it. There was no time for hesitation. Li Yi clenched his hand, and a dark sword instantly appeared. Shadow system, huh? Immediately, Li Yi charged forward, swinging his sword to create blue streaks of light that tore through the dark space. A battle of terrifying speed erupted. The shadow sword clashed fiercely with the beetle's hard shell. Li Yi could only marvel silently. So fast. Attacked by surprise, the monster let out an angry shriek, its piercing sound echoing throughout the cave. Realizing the monster's blind spot was directly behind it, Li Yi immediately accelerated. A devastating kick landed squarely on the hard shell, creating a deafening impact. But the recoil sent Li Yi flying backward, causing him to lose balance in midair. The beetle seized the opportunity, swinging its pincers to attack. Li Yi hastily raised his sword to block the blow. Pushed back, Li Yi slid across the ground, clicking his tongue in annoyance. The monster shrieked defiantly, seemingly unharmed. It's useless. Its shell is too hard. The voice in his head echoed mockingly. Only know how to use brute force? Then don't beg for help when you lose. But Li Yi brushed it off. How I fight is none of your business. Despite the warning, Li Yi launched into a furious assault, his sword only creating sparks from the impenetrable shell. Damn it! Does this beetle have no weak points? Preoccupied with attacking, Li Yi exposed an opening and took a devastating blow from the monster. His entire body was slammed straight into the rock wall, shattering the surrounding earth and stone. As Li Yi struggled to his feet, the voice echoed again. Get up, you weak rank E. But his attention was caught by the sticky blue liquid on his shoulder. An incredible sight appeared. Its own blood was corroding the sturdy shell, creating tiny cracks. Li Yi was stunned. Your blood? A smile suddenly bloomed on Li Yi's lips, his eyes flashing with a dangerous blue light. Heh, found your weakness. The giant monster charged forward, its jagged teeth ready to tear everything apart. But facing it, Li Yi only clenched his fist, dark energy swirling around his eyes. Let's see who the real weakling is. A shadow entity appeared behind Li Yi, surprised by his new ability. Is that Shadow Sense? Li Yi wasted no time, unleashing a sharp, dark claw attack aimed directly at the bug's leg. Break, the shadow entity scoffed. Tesk. All that effort just to break one leg. What's the point? In response, Li Yi growled. When one of its defensive legs is broken, attacking its weak point will be much easier. Realizing the danger, the bug immediately retreated. But bare hands weren't enough. Li Yi realized he needed a more effective weapon. Dark energy gathered in his hand, gradually forming into a giant greatsword. That's it. With the new weapon in hand, Li Yi exerted all his strength to pry the giant monster into the air. Flipped onto its back, the armored bug could only writhe helplessly. Li Yi suddenly understood why it lay still. Because its weak point is on its belly. He charged forward, plunging the greatsword into its soft underbelly. The battle ended. Li Yi panted, leaning on the sword to stand firm. I won. The shadow entity spoke again, its voice unimpressed. You're already out of breath just from killing an E-rank armored bug? From the bug's corpse, a cyan energy stone fell out. Li Yi felt a surge of power flow into his body when he touched it. Fool. That's an energy crystal. It has the chance to raise your ability rank. Oh, an experience pack. Suddenly, strange sounds echoed from deep within the cave. Li Yi became alert. Something is approaching, but I can't see anything. Why not use Shadow Sense to check? Li Yi looked bewildered. What kind of skill is that now? The shadow entity patiently explained. You just need to focus dark energy into your eyes to activate the Shadow Sense skill. Hearing this, Li Yi closed his eyes, trying to feel the flow of energy. Dark energy converged, and Li Yi's eyes glowed with an eerie purple light. Shadow Sense skill level 1 activated. I see it. Immediately, sharp spikes tore through the air, rushing out from the darkness. Li Yi quickly somersaulted, narrowly dodging the attack. A spike embedded itself directly into the rock wall, emitting a strange blue smoke. The rain of spikes continued relentlessly. Too fast. What are these things? They're coming again. Despite his best efforts, the images in Li Yi's eyes blurred, unable to keep up with the enemy's speed. Is your shadow sense useless? Why can't I see clearly? The shadow entity replied coldly. It's not that the skill is useless, it's that your power is too weak. My power is weak? Li Yi gritted his teeth, determined to channel more energy into his eyes. Then I'll focus even more. Witnessing this, the shadow entity couldn't help but be surprised. An E-rank individual who can control dark energy so skillfully. This is getting more and more interesting. Under the stronger surge of energy, the world in Li Yi's eyes became clear. He could now identify his enemies. E-rank mutated harvester bug. E-rank spike shooting bug. Wait a minute. Li Yi was stunned, cold sweat breaking out. This number, the shadow entity's voice echoed, laced with sarcasm. You humans have an old saying, when you see one cockroach, it means there's already a whole swarm in the dark. The hideous monsters roared in unison, charging towards Li Yi like a living tide. He had managed to find a position with his back against the rock wall, but that was useless when facing an army from all sides. Li Yi's eyes flashed with deadly purple light, dark energy swirling around him. All of you, he will pay the price. A surge of dark energy erupted from his body, roaring a single command. Get out! A mysterious voice echoed in his mind, as if witnessing everything. Oh? You've awakened the second stage of shadow perception so quickly? The voice was full of amusement. Just E-rank, truly surprising. Shadow perception level 2. Turning shadows into pupils. Turning every heartbeat of the enemy into the sound of death's knell. The new ability allowed Li Yi to create shadow clones. All three charged at the insect monster, and he immediately noticed the difference. The bug's movements seemed to have slowed down. By at least half. Not only did it slow them down, but the level 2 shadow eyes also helped him see through to the enemy's vital points. This purple color is its weak point, the voice continued to explain, but Li Yi had already figured it out himself. These things all have their weak points underneath. Seizing the opportunity, Li Yi unleashed an area of effect skill. Shadow spikes. Earth burial. A series of dark spikes erupted from the ground, piercing straight through the monster's shells. The monsters disintegrated, leaving behind energy crystals. But upon absorbing them, Li Yi realized the leveling progress was too slow. Each shadow projection only gives 0.1% of the breakthrough value. No time to waste. Since I've found their weak points, let's finish this quickly. Li Yi plunged into the swarm, each strike precisely aimed at a vital point. His clearing speed skyrocketed. I didn't expect shadow perception level 2 to increase my accuracy so much. But right in the middle of the rampage, a faint blue streak tore through the air, heading straight for him. Huh? What the hell is that? Li Yi barely reacted in time to dodge. Li Yi's eyes narrowed, analyzing the new enemy with terrifying speed. I see it clearly now. It's a spatial sword bug. Facing superior speed, Li Yi didn't flinch. He transformed his weapon. The dark dagger softened, extending into a whip. The shadow whip lashed out with deadly flexibility, wrapping tightly around the charging spatial sword bug. Gotcha. Li Yi tightened the whip, taunting the bound monster. Try jumping again, you bastard. A system notification appeared. Spatial sword bug's weak point has been recorded. But immediately, from the darkness, a new swarm of monsters appeared. They simultaneously launched deadly bone drills towards Li Yi. Facing the hail of projectiles, Li Yi merely smirked. Like shooting, huh? The shadows in his hands transformed once again. 2 shadow whips burst out, lashing directly at the attacking swarm. Let's see how you shoot without asses. After defeating a group, Li's D-rank breakthrough progress bar advanced. But he didn't stop, his gaze already fixed on another target. And all of you too. Shadow chains swung into the sky, like a giant net descending upon the flying swarm. Get down here, all of you. A shadow entity emerged from his own power, commenting coldly. Finally, you're starting to look like someone who wields this power, even if your posture is a bit unsightly. The system further explained the ability. The gift from the shadow eye enhanced senses, reflexes, and strength, allowing Li Yi to perfectly control shadows. But the price was a terrifying mental erosion. That was the cost demanded by the shadow eye. The power was exceeding his physical limits. My vision is blurring. In a moment of distraction, a bone blade tore across Li Yi's face. Blood gushed, but he only gritted his teeth. This power of vengeance, Li Yi's will burned even more fiercely. The clock still showed over 15 hours. How can I fall here? His rage summoned images of those he hated. Those bastards from NG Corporation. They dared to cover up the truth about my parents' deaths, and shamelessly forced me to pay their debts. Hatred transformed into power. Li Yi plunged into the rampage, regardless of time passing and his body screaming. Just because I was an ordinary person, now that I have power, I will never give up. I will have my revenge. The ground was littered with monster corpses. Standing in the middle of the battlefield, Li Yi roared a venomous oath. I'll drag all those arrogant bastards down to hell. Sitting on a throne made of monster bones, Li Yi roared a vow of revenge. I'll make them kneel and repent before my parents' graves. Time was running out, only a few short seconds remained. His venomous oath seemed to resonate with the dark power. A voice echoed, asserting that human hatred was an excellent nutrient for dark energy. Each second passed like a death sentence. The countdown clock kept ticking, The progress bar advanced little by little, and the life or death race was nearing its end. The mysterious voice warned of the risk of his body exploding if he released all his energy. But facing the line between life and death, Li Yi had only one thought. Just a little stronger, and I can break through. That determination turned into a frenzied action. I'm willing to trade everything. He charged straight into the remaining pack of monsters, unleashing all the dark energy compressed within his body. A purple pillar of energy engulfed everything. At the epicenter of the explosion, the system coldly announced, D rank breakthrough, 100%. Level up complete. Li Yi knelt, panting from exhaustion. He had succeeded by a hair's breadth. That was close. Now I can call you Little D, right? The frenzy passed, the dark energy gradually receded, returning Li Yi's clear eyes to their original state. Before him, a colossal greatsword was plunged into the desolate ground. The mysterious voice echoed again, explaining that this place used to be a testing ground, and this weapon was A rank. Li Yi struggled to lift the weapon, its size astonishing him. A dagger? This is clearly a greatsword. Are all your people giants? The dark entity materialized, showing disdain. Compared to my dark power, these weapons are nothing. But Li Yi had a different thought. Not necessarily. A blue spatial vortex appeared. Li Yi threw all the weapons into it, surprising the dark entity. You can use it in another way? He smirked. Sell them all. He explained that only those who reached D rank or higher had the right to sell equipment. A plan had formed. So, the first destination, the registration hall. But at the registration hall, amidst curious gazes, a surprised voice rang out, directed at someone. E rank. How can it be E rank? The woman explained Li Yi's test results. Although your physical stats are good, no energy fluctuations were detected. Therefore, you are ranked E. Li Yi looked at the documents, his face stunned. Your record shows you registered as a minor. Advancing to E rank will grant you an additional 15% salary. But he didn't care. His true power, the dark entity, was whispering. Dark system, unparalleled. That's because you humans cannot detect dark energy, Li Yi pondered, calculating. Not being detected could be a good thing. But it makes selling equipment a bit harder. To solve the problem, he sought out a dark alley. The black market, where all shady dealings took place. Black? Sounds perfect for the dark system. As soon as he stepped into a shop, Li Yi was scrutinized. The smell of ore dust reaches all the way here. Rare, isn't it? A miner just showed up. The dark entity within him scoffed again. Humans are truly ridiculous. They attach a few gemstones to a piece of metal and call it a divine weapon. The shop owner approached, waving his hand to dismiss him. Go on. Why is a miner barging in here? If you don't have enough money to buy anything, don't dirty our goods. Faced with contempt, Li Yi coldly asked, Is this how you treat customers? The shop owner sneered. Customers? Look at you, poor and shabby. Without another word, Li Yi swiftly drew the greatsword and plunged it straight into the floor, cracking the ground. Call your appraiser out here. Let's see how much my greatsword is worth. Before the shop owner could recover from his surprise, new customers entered. Someone in the shop recognized the newcomer. Hey Huo, you're a D rank awakened. A couple appeared. The man was Zhou Huo, D rank, accompanied by a girl named Su Qing. She grumbled. Why did you bring me to such a smelly place? The shop owner rushed out to greet them, completely ignoring Li Yi. Zhou Huo boasted. Today I got a good sword from the Otherworld Gate. I'm planning to sell it to buy my girlfriend a new car. Zhou Huo held up a glowing sword. Wind Howl Sword. This weapon inherently boosts attack power. The shop owner gasped in admiration. This is a hot item for D rank. Amidst the flattery, Li Yi's and Su Qing's eyes unexpectedly met. Both were stunned, the atmosphere suddenly frozen. Su Qing? The reunion quickly turned into a bitter humiliation. Su Qing knocked over the bag of food Li Yi had brought, her voice full of contempt. Your useless parents are dead. Didn't you get millions in compensation? Now look at you. Money gone, debts piling up. Turning back into the shop, Su Qing tried to save face in front of Zhou Huo. Do you know him? Zhou Huo asked. Why would I know a lowly miner? He's probably just a fan. After all, I'm famous online, so being recognized is normal. Zhou Huo cast a disdainful glance outside, his tone condescending. Did you just call her Su Qing? Tsuk. Standards here have really fallen. Aren't you afraid of lowering the class of this place by letting this kind of trash in? His eyes flashed with killing intent, the sword in his hand accumulating energy. The junkyard is down the street. While it's still open, take your trash and… Without waiting to finish, Zhou Huo swung his sword, unleashing a powerful slash towards Li Yi. Get lost! But the attack was unexpectedly blocked. Zhou Huo was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. What? How can this be? His sword blade shattered upon impact with a colossal great saber. Behind that weapon, Li Yi calmly looked at his opponent. It seems your sword is the real trash. Su Qing was speechless, stammering. How can this be? Didn't you say this sword could cut through iron like mud and was very expensive? Humiliated, Zhou Huo gritted his teeth. Damn it. The humiliation turned into rage. He roared, crimson lightning enveloping his fist. You brat, do you want to die? But Zhou Huo's lightning punch was blocked with ease. Li Yi gripped his wrist tightly, his voice icy. Too slow. Not a bad strike, Li Yi said, gently twisting Zhou Huo's arm, breaking his stance. Then, Li Yi followed through, delivering a lightning-fast kick to Zhou Huo's midsection. Li Yi's speed suddenly exploded. Countless after-images of him appeared simultaneously, unleashing a barrage of kicks on Zhou Huo. How about this? To Li Yi, this fight was nothing more than child's play. This attack is even slower than the challenges in the insect net. Beaten to a pulp, Zhou Huo could only stare in horror, his mind completely blank. Isn't this guy just a miner who hasn't even reached E rank? Enraged at being unable to touch his opponent, Zhou Huo roared. Why can't I hit him even though I'm D rank? In response, Li Yi unleashed his dark power. Dark tendrils immediately wrapped tightly around his fiery fist. Bound tightly in midair, Zhou Huo furiously yelled, Miners should just crawl back into your holes. Li Yi's eyes flashed dangerously. He smirked, his voice icy. Then tell me, should dogs crawl back to the ground? With that, he clenched his hand. A terrifying pulling force yanked Zhou Huo, causing him to lose balance and plummet straight to the ground. Zhou Huo collapsed. Seeing this, Su Qing rushed to his side, calling out anxiously, Huo! Li Yi looked down at the defeated opponent at his feet. It seems Mr. Zhou here truly yearns to be a dog. The insult was like adding fuel to the fire. Overwhelmed by rage, Zhou Huo roared, Are you tired of living? Just as he was about to charge, a powerful voice rang out from the doorway. Everyone, stop! Zhou Huo froze. Boss Wang? Wang Defa stepped out, followed by two subordinates. He adjusted his collar, his sharp gaze sweeping over Zhou Huo. Young Master Zhou, even though you are one of my best customers, isn't fighting in my shop a bit much? Su Qing quickly explained, pointing at Li Yi. That damn miner broke young Master Zhou's precious sword, that's why he attacked. The two words miner seemed to capture Wang Defa's full attention. He turned to Li Yi, who still stood firm in the middle of the arena. Did you really use the sword in your hand to break Zhou Huo's weapon? Li Yi calmly replied. He attacked me first. So if his sword broke, it's not my fault, right? Wang Defa turned to Zhu Huo to confirm. Young Master Zhu, is that true? The eyes of the two cunning merchants met, and an unspoken agreement was formed. That kid's sword is no ordinary item. Shall we follow the old rules? All right, I'll take the money, you take the goods. Wang Defa turned back, spreading his hands in a gesture of reconciliation. All right, since young Master Zhu trusts me, I will mediate. He stepped forward, offering to examine Li Yi's weapon. Young man, may I see the sword in your hand? Li Yi didn't hesitate, presenting it. Here. The moment his hand touched the hilt, Wang Defa's expression changed. The unexpected weight stunned him. He strained his arm to lift the weapon, his mind racing. This sword weighs over 50 kilograms, yet he held it as if it were nothing. Could he be a master? He decided he had to test him further. Wang Defa's gaze sharpened. Where did a miner like you get this weapon? Li Yi smirked, responding defiantly. Since when did the black market need to verify the owner and origin of goods? Struck where it hurt, Wang Defa quickly amended. Just curious. It's fine if you don't want to say. But Li Yi understood clearly that this was a test. He calmly fabricated a story. It's no secret. I found this sword while mining. This lie made Wang Defa believe him completely. Wang Defa flipped the sword over and over, beginning to disparage it. Quite sturdy, but it has no auxiliary attributes, worth a few hundred yuan at most. He deliberately lowered its value. Zhu Huo's sword, if it hadn't broken, would be worth over 2 million. Then he made a calculated offer. You're just a miner, life isn't easy. I'll buy this junk sword from you. You just need to pay young Master Zhu 2 million. I'll take care of the rest. He flashed a smug smile, turning to Zhu Huo. Consider it me doing a good deed. Young Master Zhu, what do you think? Zhu Huo put his arm around Su Qing, smirking in agreement. All right, since Boss Wang has stepped forward, let's do it that way, Su Qing whispered worriedly. How could that miner have 2 million? The car you promised to buy me. Zhu Huo leaned close to her ear, his voice venomous. Don't worry, we can sell his organs. That should fetch 2 million. Having heard the entire malicious plot, Li Yi spoke coldly. You guys are quite calculating, aren't you? A swaggering subordinate stepped forward. What's wrong, got a problem? Li Yi's eyes flashed with a strange blue light, a cold smile appearing on his lips. If someone has a problem, it won't just be me. Purple dark energy roared, erupting violently from Li Yi's body. Despite the overwhelming power, the subordinates blindly charged forward at the command. Cripple him. Disregarding the battle, Wang Defa suggested. This fighting is boring. Let's go to the tea room and wait for the results. Zhu Huo casually agreed, but the results came faster than they expected. A figure was kicked away like a ball, flying straight towards the three of them. Wang Defa yelled in panic. Ah, Biao, be careful. If he damages the goods, he won't be able to pay for it, but the warning was too late. Li Yi unleashed a lightning-fast roundhouse kick, taking down another one. Witnessing his subordinates being easily defeated, Zhu Huo could no longer maintain his composure. Zhu Huo smirked. Looks like mining has made him stronger. With that, he charged forward, delivering a vicious blow. Li Yi stood still, his sharp gaze locked onto the charging opponent. Your turn. Blazing red energy also erupted around Zhu Huo and Su Qing. He growled, admitting, not bad skills, but in front of a D-rank awakener, you're still just a loser. He poured all his strength into a fiery punch. However, Zhu Huo's full-power attack was blocked effortlessly by just one of Li Yi's hands. The smug look on Zhu Huo's face froze into utter horror. Immediately after, a devastating punch sent him flying into the air. Knocked back, Zhu Huo staggered to his feet, his rage erupting violently. Even my dad has never hit me. How dare you slap my face? He let out a wild roar, unleashing all his blazing red energy into a destructive attack. I'll kill you. The beam of light violently impacted Li Yi's position, creating a terrifying explosion. But when the smoke and dust cleared, Li Yi still stood tall, without a scratch. Zhu Huo was stunned. What is this? It's like an invisible wall. Li Yi slowly walked forward, his voice cold. If your dad didn't dare to hit you, then let me discipline this unfilial son. Frightened, Su Qing clung to Zhu Huo. Brother Huo, aren't you a D-rank awakener? How could you lose to a minor? Suddenly, dark tendrils shot out from nowhere, tightly binding both Zhu Huo and Su Qing. A new skill was revealed. Shadow transformation, spider web. Bound tightly and unable to move, Zhu Huo stammered in horror. You're not a minor. You're an awakener, C-rank or B-rank. Li Yi merely smirked. An E-rank minor, certified by the guild. That declaration was like a hammer blow to Zhu Huo's pride. Impossible. As Li Yi's hand reached out, Zhu Huo hastily played his last card. Wait, I'm with the Black Panther gang. Touching me means going against Big Brother Black Panther. The name Black Panther suddenly chilled the air. Li Yi's eyes flashed with a deadly blue-green light. Loan sharks. The Black Panther gang? Li Yi's long-suppressed rage erupted. He swung a devastating punch at Zhu Huo's face. The Black Panther gang? Big Brother Black Panther, huh? Without holding back, Li Yi delivered a thunderous kick, sending both bound individuals crashing onto the hard floor. Zhu Huo spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, his face contorted in pain and disbelief. Li Yi looked down with icy eyes filled with extreme hatred. The thing I hate most in this world is you damn loan sharks. Just then, a burly figure charged from behind, swinging a blade straight at Li Yi. Wang Defa roared, Die! Wang Defa's slash was stopped dead. Without hesitation, Li Yi kicked him away, his eyes glowing purple with killing intent. Get lost. Facing the overwhelming power, Zhu Huo hastily waved his hands, his attitude completely changed. This is a misunderstanding. I have 100,000 here. Let's be friends. Just forget about today. But there was no mercy. Zhu Huo, bruised and bleeding from the mouth, pleaded in horror. 500,000. No, 1 million. Don't slap me anymore. Li Yi asked coldly. Is your thick skin only worth 2,000 per slap? Dark tendrils extended from Li Yi's feet, binding Zhu Huo tightly and hanging him upside down in the air. You guys love loan sharking, don't you? Those 50 slaps were the interest. Now for the principal. In despair, Zhu Huo held out a black card. 5 million. All my money is here. It's all yours. Li Yi took the card. NG Corporation VIP card? So you guys are the debt collectors for NG Corporation, forcing me to mine. A plan flashed in his mind. Then let Su Qing go, lure the snake out of its hole. He let Zhu Huo drop to the ground. Anyway, the Black Panther gang has extorted several million from me over the years. Consider this money returned to its rightful owner. Su Qing rushed to help Zhu Huo up, asking worriedly, Young Master Zhu, are you all right? Didn't you say he was just a minor? Zhu Huo brushed her off. How was I supposed to know he'd suddenly become so strong? His anger flared. Zhu Huo pushed Su Qing down. If you hadn't said he was a minor, I wouldn't have let my guard down and been ambushed. Zhu Huo's face contorted with hatred, and he pulled out his phone. My money isn't that easy to take. Elsewhere, amidst a chaotic scene, a powerful man stood among the rubble, coldly ordering into his phone. Speak. On the other end of the line, Zhuhuo pleaded. Brother Bao, you must get justice for me. Someone stole the sword I intended to give you, and even threatened to destroy our Black Panther gang. The man smirked. Send me that guy's information. He hung up. A red-haired subordinate reported. Brother Bao, we've got the goods. What about the others? The man called Brother Bao glanced around. The others? Is there anyone else here? Of course not. The red-haired subordinate grinned sinisterly, red tendrils stretching from his fingers. The threads tightened, shredding everything that remained. The leader of the Black Panther gang said indifferently, that punk Zhu Huo you mentioned. I couldn't care less if he lives or dies. At the guild hall, Li Yi stood before the mission board, a figure in a blue hoodie. A polite staff member approached. How may I help you? Li Yi pulled down his hood, revealing his face. I'm an E-rank awakener. I'd like to see if there are any suitable missions. Li Yi's answer immediately drew unwanted attention. A bald man with sharp teeth sneered. E-rank trash came to the wrong area? The lowest missions here are D-rank. Did you come here to kill yourself? The insults spread like wildfire. A red-haired girl curled her lip in disdain. I'm dying of laughter. An E-ranker dares to speak so loudly? E-rankers are just a bunch of filthy parasites. The staff member also showed contempt, waving Li Yi away. Please leave. E-rankers wait outside. Trash should just stay with trash. Driven away, Li Yi quietly lowered his head to look at his phone. A notification for a 5 million debt payment just appeared, his account balance returning to around zero. The priority now is to take a mission. Suddenly, an invisible pressure weighed down on the entire hall. High heels decisively clicked on the floor, drawing all eyes towards the door. All those who had just hurled insults were stunned, sweat pouring out. The heavy pressure paralyzed them, unable to move. The entire crowd in the hall felt the terrifying aura. Such strong pressure. At least B rank. I can't even get close. In the center of the pressure, a woman appeared. Snow-white hair, blazing red eyes, and a dark red aura swirling around her body. It was Qin. The crowd whispered and parted. Why is a B ranker here? Amidst the chaos, only Li Yi stood tall, his gaze unwavering. Li Yi's eyes flashed with purple light as he observed Qin. Powerful energy, but no killing intent. A strange contradiction. The masked man accompanying Qin spoke with a resounding voice. A D-rank beast abyss needs a D-rank awakener as a minor. Is anyone interested? Amidst the trembling crowd, one person still stood firm. Isn't this guy E-rank? Why isn't he affected by the B-rank aura? They were astonished to see Li Yi even take a step forward. A confident smile appeared on Li Yi's lips. It seems it has to be me. Qin also noticed Li Yi, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. The staff member rushed to her side. Oh, it's Miss Qin of Longman Sand Street. I have many D-rank awakeners. Let me introduce them to you. Ignoring the offer, Qin decisively pointed at Li Yi. No need, just choose him. The staff member panicked, quickly explaining. He arrived late, hasn't queued or registered yet. That's against the rules. But Qin growled, her eyes flashing with a menacing light. I am the rule. I say, choose him. Under that pressure, the staff member could only bow his head in obedience, hastily leading Qin and Li Yi inside. Inside the dungeon, a minotaur roared ferociously, swinging its gigantic wooden club down. But facing it was a team of seasoned hunters. A man with scars on his head calmly played a flute, and magical melodies echoed. He was a bard. His melodies supported the entire formation. Frontline, damage, support, a pretty solid team. A warrior with a gigantic spiked shield swept through the front line, followed by agile swordsmen finishing off enemies. The minotaurs didn't stand a chance. Li Yi and Qin observed from behind. The bard commented, his voice full of confidence. Good coordination, and a B-ranker carrying the team. Things seemed to be going smoothly, but a sense of unease suddenly rose in Li Yi's heart. His left eye flared with a dark purple flame. His vision pierced through the mist, revealing a horrifying truth. Below were not just a few monsters, but an entire army of minotaurs. This abyss clearly far exceeds B-rank standards. The shadow entity behind him spoke, explaining that the evil dark eye had reached its second stage, granting him perception far beyond ordinary people. Li Yi narrowed his eyes. It's fine if others don't realize, but Qin, she must know. A chilling thought flashed in his mind. Could it be? She knew all along but deliberately kept silent for some purpose. Just then, the bard approached Qin, whispering, Miss, according to information, the starlight ore vein you're looking for is deep inside. Qin turned, her eyes sharp as she commanded. Minor, follow me. Despite his heart full of doubt, Li Yi still responded. As the team delved deeper into the cave, The dangerous aura grew stronger. Li Yi wondered if Qin didn't care about the lives of her subordinates, or if she was overly confident in her B-rank power. The ground beneath their feet suddenly cracked. A terrifying sound echoed as the cave floor collapsed, throwing the entire team into the air. Li Yi shouted during the freefall. "Miss!" Both Li Yi and Qin landed heavily, the impact cracking the ground. But the danger wasn't over. Li Yi immediately sensed another presence. Before them was a horde of minotaurs, led by a gigantic D-rank beast. Its roar echoed throughout the cave. Li Yi turned, awaiting the B-rank leader's performance. A blazing red energy erupted around Qin, and the sword in her hand vibrated intensely. But then, the confidence on Qin's face suddenly vanished, replaced by extreme tension. She turned to Li Yi, her voice trembling. "Minor, you go. I'll provide support." Li Yi was stunned. "Huh? I'm just a minor." Fear was evident on Qin's face. She trembled uncontrollably. Qin knelt on the ground. Li Yi couldn't believe it. "You're B-rank and you're not moving? How am I, an E-rank minor, supposed to handle this? I only get paid as a minor. Why should I risk my life?" With tears in her eyes, Qin shouted an offer. "I'll give you 1 million. Go up there and deal with them." At the mention of that amount, Li Yi's attitude completely changed. A smirk appeared on Li Yi's lips, his eyes flashing with an eerie purple light. Reluctantly, "I guess I'll do it." Dark energy condensed into a pair of sharp twin blades in his hands. Time to move. Facing the roaring horde of beasts alone, Li Yi casually provoked them. "Come on." In response to the provocation, the horde of beasts rushed at Li Yi like a flood. But he only slightly furrowed his brow, as if something else had caught his attention. Suddenly, Qin's desperate scream echoed from behind. "Ah, no, my 1 million. Immediately, a vortex of blazing red energy erupted from Qin's position, sucking all the surrounding monsters into its center. Witnessing the scene, Li Yi breathed a sigh of relief. She still had this move. It seems I worried for nothing. But the danger hadn't stopped. A gigantic orc, much larger than its kin, leaped down from above, aiming straight for Qin. Li Yi immediately intervened. A dark portal opened, and he drew out a gigantic greatsword. A sword swing created a sweeping arc of energy, pushing back the smaller monsters, clearing the way for the main battle. Li Yi's eyes flashed purple, and he smirked. "Hey, you're really good at attracting hatred, aren't you, Qin?" However, Qin unexpectedly dashed past him, running deeper into the cave. "These orcs are yours." Left alone with the horde, Li Yi unleashed countless dark slashes to hold them back. "There's no helping you." Meanwhile, Qin was still running frantically, her breathing growing more ragged. She stopped in a wider area, having lured the gigantic orc away from the horde. It should be safe here. But when facing the monster directly, Qin's confidence vanished, replaced by extreme terror. She stood frozen, trembling. "Why? Why aren't you afraid of me?" The giant orc let out a savage roar, its bloodshot eyes rolling wildly, raising its mace, ready to crush her. From a distance, Li Yi silently observed, full of questions. Strange, she clearly has a way to fight back, so why is she so scared? Contrary to her earlier fear, Qin roared, releasing a surge of fiery red energy from her wrist. A crimson shockwave erupted, sweeping away everything around it. The giant orc was thrown back like a toy. All of it happened right before Li Yi's eyes. The price for that attack was the bracelet on Qin's wrist, shattering into pieces. Li Yi narrowed his eyes, realizing the truth. A protective item? Could it be that the previous attack wasn't her full power? Noticing the contradiction, Li Yi approached. "Hey, are you a non-combat awakener?" Qin only hummed softly, as if her secret had been exposed. Qin quickly clarified. "Wait, you have to keep this a secret after we get out." Li Yi smirked. "Then you'll have to pay extra for that." But Qin quickly pointed out another, more urgent problem. "But why are those minotaurs only attacking you?" Li Yi's eyes flashed with an eerie purple light as he activated his Shadow Eye skill. He immediately discovered the mastermind hidden in the shadows. He concealed his presence. No wonder I didn't sense him at first. The minotaur's abnormal behavior is caused by these strange fluctuations. The hidden figure called out. "Hey, you minor." Li Yi clicked his tongue, his face showing clear annoyance. Trouble never ends. He drew his sword, ready for battle. He was quickly surrounded by a pack of minotaurs. Damn it. More and more minotaurs are gathering. I can't use area of effect skills for fear of hurting Qin. At this rate, I'll run out of stamina sooner or later. Suddenly, an idea flashed in Li Yi's mind. That's right. If his target is Qin, then I'll use that to my advantage and hand Qin over to him. As he finished speaking, dark chains emerged from the ground, binding the monsters tightly. Li Yi looked up, facing the enemy. Hey. Both of her protective items are used up. She's a non-combat awakener, so you'd better be careful not to get ambushed. Qin blushed, furious at Li Yi's blatant revelation. How dare you blurt that out? Meanwhile, Li Yi was still using dark chains to restrain the ferocious monster. From the shadows, the mastermind revealed a sinister smile. Just a minor. Almost ruined my plan. A non-combat awakener with no protective items left. Let me personally send you off. He suddenly appeared behind Qin, raising his weapon. Qin Xian, blame your ungrateful father. A cold sword stroke swung down, aimed directly at Qin, but the attack was blocked. Li Yi stood in front of Qin, his greatsword firmly parrying the enemy's blade. The attacker was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. What? Qin recognized the enemy in surprise. Luden? Li Yi explained briefly. He used infrasound to control the minotaurs to attack you. Luden laughed arrogantly, his eyes flashing with a fiery red light. Haha, to lose to a minor, I truly was too careless, he growled, a terrifying red aura erupting from his body. But don't think you've won. The red aura spread, coiling around the bound minotaur. Their life force was cruelly drained, their bodies disintegrating in agony. Luden floated in midair, absorbing all the energy, forming a giant minotaur phantom. Let me show you how terrifying a control-type awakener can be. Qin was terrified by the immense pressure. This aura, it's C rank, Li Yi confirmed. Luden is absorbing the life force of the beastman to strengthen himself. The ground beneath their feet cracked open, revealing streams of burning lava. Lava? Qin panicked. Li Yi speculated. Could it be? He's evolving into a C-rank lava minotaur. Li Yi's eyes glowed purple, and he smirked. From D rank straight to C rank? This cheating is so outrageous that even I feel inferior. Li Yi's speculation became a terrifying reality. A sky-shattering roar echoed from the C-rank lava monster that had just completed its evolution. Without giving them time to react, it swung its massive arm, creating a fiery pressure wave that swept across everything. Li Yi tensed, purple dark energy enveloping his greatsword, forming a solid shield in front of them both. The two forces collided, creating an earth-shattering explosion that blew away the surrounding rocks and dirt. The terrifying power of the attack left Qin stunned. Is this the destructive power of C rank? It's too much for just the two of us. Amidst the dust and smoke, Qin was surprised to find burn marks on Li Yi's cheek and shoulder. You're injured. Despite his injuries, Li Yi stood firm, but the lava monster was already ready for its next attack. In that critical moment, Li Yi suddenly grabbed Qin's hand tightly. Hold on tight, he commanded, pulling Qin with all his might to run out of the monster's attack trajectory. Pulled away abruptly, Qin couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise. As he ran, Li Yi unleashed purple energy chains, binding the monster tightly. It roared in surprise. I can't move? You have control skills too? Li Yi explained his quick strategy. I can't hold it back for long, but you can run. Qin immediately understood. All right. He turned back, his gaze resolute. Listen, once you're in the labyrinth, just run straight ahead, as far as possible. Realizing his intention, Qin asked worriedly as they both still rushed forward. What about you? Aren't you coming with me? Li Yi stopped at the entrance, turning to face the danger. I have to hold it back to buy you time. Qin was stunned, uttering his role. Minor. Li Yi's gaze was firm, giving Qin a promise. Hide well, I'll come find you soon. He smiled, adding a meaningful remark as Qin's back disappeared. After all, you're my $1 million investment. Meanwhile, the lava monster roared in anger, realizing it had lost track of its prey. Damn it! Where did it hide? Immediately, a voice called out from above, attracting its attention. Hey, looking for someone? The monster snapped its head up, growling. Where is Qin Xian? Without waiting for an answer, it swung its massive axe, bringing down a devastating blow on Li Yi's position. Li Yi skillfully dodged the attack, retorting with a provocative question as he dove down from above. Guess? The sword in his hand drew a bright white arc, slashing directly at the monster's face. But contrary to expectations, a jarring impact reverberated back. Li Yi was stunned to realize that his sword couldn't even penetrate the rocky layer on its body. It scoffed. Haha, are you stupid? Trying to cut rock with a knife? The recoil force sent Li Yi flying. He realized this vast lava area was the biggest obstacle. I need to lure it to a more open space. Thinking this, Li Yi immediately turned and ran, luring the monster to chase him like a mouse. The monster roared, charging after him. All you know how to do is run? But Li Yi showed no fear. He stopped, a confident smile on his face as his eyes glowed with an ethereal purple hue. No matter how strong it is. The system announced Phantom Eye activated. I just need to find its weakness. Li Yi muttered to himself. In response, the lava monster roared. I'll deal with you first, then that girl. Without another word, it charged, bringing terrifying heat. Die! In the monster's fiery chest, an unusual purple energy core appeared. Found it. Immediately, Li Yi summoned a great sword of shadows, swinging a fatal blow straight at his opponent's head. But instead of the sound of bones breaking, what he felt was unimaginable resistance. The monster easily blocked the blade, a scornful smile appearing. Do you think I don't know what you're planning? Against absolute power, all petty tricks are useless. It roared, unleashing a devastating punch. Thrown back like a puppet, Li Yi slid across the ground. He realized in shock. What kind of power is this? Is this really just a C rank? Giving Li Yi no time to rest, the monster continued to charge. Let's see where you run this time. But Li Yi didn't flinch. He knew that a direct confrontation would be suicide. I have to wait for the right moment. Streaks of shadows poured from Li Yi's hands, coiling around the monster. It growled in disdain. Oh, not running anymore? Planning to cut me with a dagger? Useless. That scrap metal is only enough to scratch me. The monster roared, shattering the shadow streaks. Li Yi held his breath, waiting. When it attacks again, the moment the monster swung its arm, revealing an opening in its chest, Li Yi shot forward. Now's the time. The sharp shadow blade plunged straight into the glowing energy core, but there was no resistance. The blade pierced through with surprising ease. Li Yi was stunned. What? The stab passed through an illusion. Immediately, a terrifying burst of heat erupted from the energy core, throwing Li Yi back. So hot. The heat was so immense that even his shadow energy couldn't completely block it. Li Yi stood firm, his gaze sharp. You're smarter than I thought. This guy knows how to protect his weakness. The lava monster spoke in a hoarse voice, admitting the truth. I don't know how you found it, but you did sense my weakness. It smirked. But knowing is useless. That spot still has a temperature of over 2,000 degrees Celsius. Tell me where Qinxian is, and I'll spare your life. Li Yi replied scornfully. I don't trust scum who betray their own kind. The blunt refusal enraged the lava monster. You want to die? It swung its colossal axe, bringing it down with earth-shattering force. Take this axe, you bastard. But Li Yi was a step faster, dodging aside. If you've got guts, don't dodge. Humph. While dodging, Li Yi spun in midair, summoning power. Shadow transformation, chain blade. The shadow chains transformed into a sharp spear, shooting straight forward. The lava monster froze, sneering. As if you didn't dodge. This was the moment. Li Yi instantly changed his technique. The chance is here. Shadow transformation. Wire dart. The shadow dart, now reinforced into a drill, plunged into the monster's energy core. The outer rocky shell cracked under the force of the attack, but the terrifying heat from the core began to corrode the shadow weapon, causing it to melt. The attack failed once more. Damn it! What a pain! The lava monster burst into arrogant laughter. Useless! Give up! It roared, bringing down a fiery greatsword and a finishing blow on Li Yi. In a moment of despair, Li Yi realized his shadow energy was depleting. A thought flashed through his mind. Do I have to ask Jingtian for help? But he immediately dismissed it. No. Even if I die, I won't let Jingtian control my body again. Li Yi charged forward, his eyes burning for another reason. Besides, if I kill this C-rank monster, I'll get a ton of experience points. Can't waste that. The shadow sword struck the monster's lava armor, but only created a slight tremor. I don't believe I can't break it, Li Yi roared, pouring all his strength into the sword's tip. He let out a furious shout, pushing his energy beyond its limits. Break for me! A cracking sound echoed. The sword finally pierced through its rock-hard defense. Break! The monster roared in pain, but instead of collapsing, its body flared violently. A notification appeared. Berserk Rage activated. Get out of my way! Its power exploded. Li Yi was astonished. What the hell? Why did it suddenly go berserk? Before he could react, Li Yi was thrown back like a puppet, his body slamming hard against the rock wall. Standing before the exhausted Li Yi, the lava monster scoffed. A filthy miner actually pushed me this far. Li Yi felt the scorching heat, but, it's over, it declared, its eyes burning with killing intent. Suddenly, a strange sensation washed over him, and Li Yi's vision began to distort. He looked down in astonishment, a surge of shadow energy, even purer and stronger than before, pouring from his body. Why? Is my shadow energy so much stronger than before? A familiar voice echoed as Jingtian's silhouette appeared. That energy has always been within your body. It's just that before, it hadn't been tempered by extreme heat, so it couldn't be drawn out. As Jingtian finished speaking, a system panel appeared before Li Yi's eyes, confirming the awakening of a new ability. Shadow Enhancement. Novice. This energy not only healed wounds, but did even more. The sudden change stunned the lava monster. Li Yi's wounds were healing at an incredible rate, and the aura of darkness emanating from him was even more terrifying than before. Sensing the threat, it roared, determined not to let Li Yi recover further. A colossal punch encased in fiery lava slammed down. But Li Yi, with his enhanced body, was a step faster. The terrifying punch narrowly missed, leaving only a scorched mark on the ground. Not only did he dodge, but he also closed the distance, his speed matching its triple acceleration state. The astonishment quickly turned into a sneer. What a monster. Is this really an E rank? It decided to unleash a finishing blow, roaring. I'll engulf this place, let's see where you run. A surging sea of lava erupted from its body. Fierce waves of fire crashed down, engulfing Li Yi's small figure in an instant. Amidst the sea of fire, the lava monster smugly declared, "Let the lava burn you to ashes." But then, the triumph on its face vanished, replaced by extreme astonishment. Amidst the flowing molten lava, a figure still stood firm, their legs enveloped by dark energy. Li Yi looked down at his unburnt body, feeling the new power. So this is shadow enhancement. If the basic level is this strong, what about the advanced level? He looked up, his glowing purple eyes flashing with provocation. Hey, you boiler, the temperature's a bit low. The lava monster trembled and backed away, disbelieving its eyes. Li Yi slowly walked forward, his voice full of sarcasm. You looked quite pleased just now. Dark energy gathered on his arm, transforming into a sharp blade. Now then, it's my turn. The painful roar of the lava monster echoed as Li Yi, enveloped in dark energy, plunged his pair of daggers deep into its chest. Giving his opponent no time to rest, Li Yi spun around, unleashing a powerful flurry of slashes. The monster was stunned by the terrifying speed. Li Yi's strength, defense, and speed, enhanced by the darkness, had skyrocketed to 200%. The lava giant roared in fury as it looked down at its torn arm. My arm, its rage erupting, it screamed directly at Li Yi's face. You bastard! In response to that frenzy, Li Yi calmly took a defensive stance, his daggers ready for a counterattack. A sudden realization flashed in Li Yi's mind. When in dark energy enhancement mode, even a charged attack can deal long-range damage. The lava giant merely clicked its tongue in disdain, flames erupting from its body, healing its wounds. In the blink of an eye, its body was completely healed. As long as there's lava, I can regenerate infinitely. Your attacks are useless. Ha ha ha. At that arrogant declaration, Li Yi merely smirked. Infinite regeneration, huh? His eyes glowed with an eerie purple light as he saw through his opponent's true nature. I don't think so. Your energy seems to be weakening. Struck at its core, the monster roared in defiance. Then try again, and Li Yi responded with a rain of slashes. Again and again, the darkness relentlessly tore through the lava body. The giant gritted its teeth, trying to endure the endless waves of attacks. But then, panic was evident on its face. Its regeneration ability had vanished. What's happening? Realizing its opponent had lost its regeneration ability, Li Yi coldly issued an ultimatum. Your energy has reached its limit. Surrender now. The giant hastily sought a way out. Wait, there's no enmity between us. There's no need to go this far, is there? Li Yi replied concisely. That's true, but Qin paid me $1 million to protect her. Hearing about money, the lava monster immediately bargained. Money is no problem. Hand Qin over, and when we get back to Wrong City, I'll give you 5 million, not just one. But Li Yi merely smirked, his purple eyes flashing with suspicion. Back to Wrong City? Do you think I'd believe you won't go back on your word? What if you bring people to seek revenge? Then my life would be hard to save. Of course not, the giant hastily clarified. I'm not the kind of scum who breaks promises. Oh, thanks for the reminder, Li Yi sneered, another plan forming in his mind. Handing a traitor like you over to Qin's father, Qin Shaoshang, he'll certainly be very interested in the one who harmed his daughter, Li Yi calculated. In exchange for a favor from the boss of Longman Sanji, that's worth far more than 5 million. The thought of falling into Qin Shaoshang's hands terrified the giant. It knew that was a path to death, and its family would also be suppressed by the organization. Cornered, it let out a desperate roar, raising a piece of azure crystal high. If that's the case, don't blame me. Jing Tian immediately recognized the terrifying object. Why does he have a fragment of the alien prison gate? It hastily warned a stunned Li Yi. Once the fragment is destroyed, the gate will disappear. Everyone will be trapped here forever. You forced me! The giant laughed maniacally, preparing to crush the crystal in its hand. But before it could do anything, a purple shadow flashed past. In the blink of an eye, the crystal was safely in Li Yi's hand. The giant could only stare in shock, not understanding what had just happened. Giving his opponent no time to recover, Li Yi charged forward, his dark scythe swinging, aimed directly at the enemy's heart. The painful roar of the lava monster echoed throughout the cave, its body writhing from the fatal blow. Immediately after the scythe's strike, countless dark spikes emerged from the ground, piercing the giant's body from all sides. Losing its life, its rocky body collapsed onto the molten lava floor. From its disintegrating body, a glowing energy core floated upward. The energy core was immediately drawn towards Li Yi, merging with his body. A new surge of power arose, upgrading his skills. No wonder the previous minotaurs didn't have cores. It turns out they all converged here. Before he could even fully perceive the new power, Li Yi realized something was wrong. Jing Tian emerged from the shadows, his tone urgent. With no more energy from the lava minotaur, the beast abyss is about to collapse. Escaping the collapsing dungeon, the group breathed a sigh of relief. Qin approached Li Yi, extending a direct invitation. I didn't expect you to be so much stronger than an E rank. Interested in joining Longman Sanji? My father won't treat you poorly. Li Yi frankly refused. Currently, I have no intention of joining any faction. Furthermore, I hope you'll keep my abilities a secret. Showing respect for his decision, Qin offered him a card. All right, take your time to think about it. Here's $1 million, your deserved share. Li Yi didn't stand on ceremony. Fair and square. Thanks. Immediately after, Li Yi summoned a giant dark sword. Oh right, this sword. Does Longman Sanji buy items like this? Qin narrowed her eyes, assessing the sword. There are no energy fluctuations, but the material is far from ordinary. I'll take it back for appraisal, and whatever its value, I'll share a portion with you. Excellent. I'll await your message. Li Yi waved goodbye, already having his own calculations in mind. He believed Qin understood weapons, and if she recognized its value, the path to trading equipment would open up. His silhouette gradually disappeared under the moonlight. A fleeting doubt crossed his mind, but Li Yi brushed it aside. In any case, earning $1 million was already a bargain. Back in his room, Li Yi took out the mysterious blue crystal fragment, wondering about its significance. Jing Tian immediately explained. This is a fragment of the prison gate. If you collect enough, your power can increase to S rank, or even higher. The words S rank struck him like lightning, leaving Li Yi stunned. He stared at the fragment in his hand, an unimaginable goal now laid out before him. Within Li Yi's mind, Jing Tian sensed the reappearance of the fragments, raising questions in his heart. Could those guys still be active? I must speed up my recovery. This kid is the key. One day, the truth beyond human comprehension would be revealed, but Jing Tian decided to keep it a secret. No, it's too soon. Let him get stronger first. At the same time, in a remote mining area, the security perimeter was unusually strict. 1 B rank, 3 C ranks. They've deployed high-level hunters to guard this place. Observing from afar, Li Yi silently admitted, just as I thought, with my current strength, I still can't uncover the truth. Jing Tian spoke in his mind. It's just an E-rank spatial rift. What's there to investigate? Li Yi's eyes flashed with hatred. My parents' deaths, and the truth behind them, are all in there. A flood of painful memories rushed back. A stack of money was thrown onto the table. Here's 200,000. Consider it compensation from the Ning group. Take it and sign the accident death certificate. Seeing Li Yi not move, the man sneered. What? Is it too little? Li Yi gritted his teeth, his voice trembling with suppressed anger. I want the truth. The man lost patience, grabbing Li Yi's hair and pushing his head down. I told you it was an accident. Your parents and the other miners are all dead. Li Yi screamed. No. He frantically pushed the man's hand away. Impossible. My parents are both C-rank awakened. How could they die in an accident? They must still be alive. Let me go in and check. Immediately, a large bodyguard grabbed him by the collar. Kid, anything can happen in the ghost zone. Even C-ranks can die. Li Yi still tried to argue. But this is only an E-rank ghost zone. Ghosts can't be stronger than E-rank. Even if attacked, they could still survive and escape, right? The bodyguard growled. You'd best know your place. He completely lost patience, his killing intent evident. Are you trying to extort more money? His giant fist was raised, ready to crush the stubborn kid. Looks like you're tired of living. Just as the fist was about to swing down, a powerful voice rang out. Stop! Both the bodyguard and the manager turned pale as they recognized Ning Donghao, chairman of the Ning Group, an A-rank awakened. Ning Donghao coldly reprimanded his subordinate. I told you to properly comfort the victims' families. Is this your proper way? Memories flashed back to that fateful day. Ning Donghao held out a thick wad of cash. Take this, grandson. This money can help you overcome your current difficulties. But Li Yi just brushed it away. I don't need money. I just want to know the truth. Faced with the boy's determination, Ning Donghao extended his hand, promising sternly. All right, we will investigate thoroughly and give you a satisfactory explanation. At that time, Li Yi had believed that justice was about to be served, but reality was a harsh slap in the face. Not only did they cover up the truth, but they also framed his parents for theft. leaving him with a massive debt. Jing Tian appeared, his voice echoing a cruel truth. No matter who you are, lacking power means being trampled upon. So instead of standing here complaining, find a way to collect more teleportation gate fragments. Jing Tian continued. When you are strong enough, the so-called truth will be revealed as easily as turning your hand. Li Yi gritted his teeth, long-suppressed resentment pouring out in his thoughts. If it weren't for Jing Tian's dark energy being undetectable, if it weren't for being ranked an E-grade minor, he wouldn't be in a situation where no one would even invite him to a team. Li Yi's thoughts became even more tangled as he looked at Jing Tian. This guy sometimes demanded to take over his body, and other times helped him level up. Was he a friend or foe? Was the promise to raise him to S rank just a crazy trick? As if reading his mind, Jing Tian snapped. Kid, if I didn't see potential in you, I wouldn't bother wasting my breath. Li Yi was bewildered, secretly thinking this guy was truly an incurable lunatic. Just then, his phone screen lit up. A mission invitation had just been sent. Li Yi quickly arrived at the rendezvous point, an abandoned chemical factory. A man in a suit asked, "Why are you late?" "Sorry, I just ran here from another E-grade ghost zone." Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out. Li Yi? A burly man with a scar on his face looked at him in surprise. Uncle Zhou Hao? Long time no see. Are you also participating in this mission? Zhou Hao placed a hand on Li Yi's shoulder, his eyes filled with a hint of nostalgia. You've grown so tall. It's been 5 years since your parents' accident. The warm atmosphere was broken by a contemptuous voice. I thought we were waiting for some important figure. Turns out it's just a lowly miner. A group of muscular mercenaries looked at Li Yi with disdain. The manager hastily explained the mission. This is a D-grade ghost zone. Our mission is to find and extract 60 kilograms of ice crystal ore as a sample. Li Yi listened in silence, but a suspicion arose in his mind. 4 C-grade awakened for a D-grade ghost zone? This was too illogical. The mission manager reported the situation. Based on the killing intent of these 4, none of them are good people. Furthermore, I can sense another C-grade awakened inside the ghost zone. Elsewhere, a man with fiery red hair was monitoring every movement via his phone screen. My toys have all gathered. So then, a sinister smile spread across his lips. His bloodshot eyes gleamed with a thirst for blood. The hunt begins. Meanwhile, Li Yi's group had entered the gloomy forest. Zhou Hao asked worriedly, Li Yi, don't you need to wear protective gear? No need. I'm an ascended now. I can handle it. Li Yi's answer made the 3 mercenaries burst into laughter. An ascended miner? That's a rare sight. Gusan added a sarcastic remark. More like the king of trash. Zhou Hao quickly tried to intervene, but Li Yi only responded with a calm smile. Don't worry, Uncle Zhou Hao. I'm not being reckless. But his gaze immediately sharpened. Li Yi secretly observed, noticing something unusual. The vegetation here seems to have been deliberately altered to conceal, and I can sense a killing intent lurking nearby. The group continued deeper into the forest, unaware of the imminent danger. Suddenly, a streak of red light flashed past right behind Li Yi. He froze, his eyes turning cold. Can't hold back anymore? Li Yi glanced at the mercenary still casually walking forward, quickly analyzing in his mind. Is he trying to scout from the shadows? Or does he have another plan? Just then, Gusan snapped. Hey, you trash. Hurry up, don't dawdle. Zhou Hao quickly tried to appease him. Yes, we'll go faster now. An idea flashed in Li Yi's mind. This was the perfect opportunity. The perfect time to use the terrain, shake them off, and observe from the shadows. Without hesitation, Li Yi grabbed Zhou Hao's hand. Uncle Zhou Hao, hold on tight. He suddenly shot forward. Li Yi's speed was so fast that it created streaks of blue light with every step, leaving the mercenaries stunned behind him. Damn it! Is this the speed of a miner? Gusan angrily yelled. Stop right there. But Gudai raised a hand to stop him, his eyes full of hidden meaning. Just let them be. If those 2 pieces of trash leave us, they'll die anyway. Meanwhile, hidden on a high branch, a red-haired stranger observed the mercenaries. 3 lurkers. Could they have sensed the danger? He smirked, his fiery red eyes gleaming with a thirst for blood. Good. If everyone were as foolish as these 3, the game would be too boring. Below, Gu-er spoke, breaking the silence. Big brother, I feel like something is wrong with this mission. Ever since we came in, I've had the feeling of being watched. Gudai dismissed it. Don't be paranoid. It's just a D-grade mission, and all 3 of us are C-grade. What can't we handle? But Gusan also agreed, a chill running down his spine. The unease grew, and Gusan suggested. How about we go back? Gudai snapped. Third brother, don't panic along with him. Before he could finish, both Gudai and Gu-er froze, their eyes filled with horror as they sensed a deadly killing intent. A figure suddenly appeared behind Gusan, quick as lightning. Fiery red threads tightened around Gusan, and the attacker revealed himself. In utter horror, Gusan recognized the enemy. Shui Bao. Shui Bao, let third brother go. We can talk this out. Gudai tried to negotiate, but the red-haired man just sneered. Talk? You three brothers have provoked the Black Leopard gang again and again. What more is there to say? With that, he tightened the energy threads. A bloody red cut flashed through the air, ending Gusan's life on the spot. Before Gudai and Gu-er's eyes, their brother had disintegrated into fragments. Rage overcame fear, and Gu-er roared. Shui Bao, I'll take you on. Gudai frantically tried to stop him. Second brother, don't. But it was too late. Gu-er's fist was stopped mid-air by deadly red threads. Both remaining brothers were bound tightly. The one called Shu Bao looked contemptuously at his struggling prey. Fight me? How pathetic. The threads tightened further, digging deep into Gu-er's flesh, making him shriek in extreme pain. In Gudai's chaotic memory, darkness enveloped him. A monster. The nightmare continued with a life-or-death chase. The hunter laughed gleefully at the fear of his scattered prey. Run! Run faster! Frightened prey is the most delicious. The flashback ended, and the scene shifted back to the quiet forest. Li Yi and Zhou Hao were resting by a campfire. Uncle Zhou Hao, let's rest here for a bit. Li Yi got straight to the point. Uncle Zhou Hao, have you offended anyone or any faction recently? Zhou Hao looked bewildered and denied it. I'm just a miner. How could I offend anyone? Li Yi's eyes turned sharp and cold. Because this mission is a deadly trap. Someone wants to bury all of us alive in this cursed place. Just then, Gudai stepped out from the shadows, his face filled with killing intent. Seeing the tense situation, Li Yi pressed on. Uncle Zhou Hao, if you know anything, you'd best tell me. Rage erupted. Gudai lunged and grabbed Li Yi's collar. You bastard! You realized something was wrong but stayed silent, and now my brothers are all dead. Li Yi remained unusually calm. Gudai sneered. Looks like you're not entirely useless. At least you helped lure the mastermind out before you die. Li Yi's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold blue light. I said, you're the one who's about to die. Before he could finish, thin red threads had already wrapped tightly around Gudai. He froze, horrified to realize a figure was perched on a branch behind him. The red-haired stranger licked his lips gruesomely. I didn't expect a miner like you to be so interesting. Without hesitation, Li Yi activated his ability. A system notification echoed in his mind. Supreme Shadow Eye activated. Suddenly, the threads tightened, severing Gudai's head. Fresh blood stained the night red. Witnessing the horrific scene, Zhou Hao screamed. Shui Bao, big brother Shui Bao, please, spare us. The one called Shui Bao replied coldly, while his information panel appeared before Li Yi's eyes. You may never have offended me, but if you hadn't gotten drunk and blabbed a few days ago, we wouldn't have known you were a survivor. In utter panic, Zhou Hao hastily pleaded. I'll take that secret to my grave. I swear I won't tell anyone. The red-haired man sneered, a grim smile on his lips, his eyes burning with a deadly glint. I've always believed in one truth. Just then, Li Yi cried out a desperate warning. Uncle Zhou Hao, look out. But it was too late. The red-haired man coldly finished his sentence. Only the dead can keep a secret. A surge of crimson energy pierced through Zhou Hao's chest. Li Yi gritted his teeth, glaring furiously at the culprit. Bastard. Without a moment's hesitation, Li Yi charged forward. Dark energy condensed into a pair of sharp twin blades in his hands, determined to avenge his comrade. The two powers clashed violently. The red-haired man showed surprise. I didn't expect a mere miner like you to have such skill. No wonder you could deal with that brat Zhou Huo. He sneered, his red energy flaring up more intensely. But that's your limit. You're only strong enough for someone like Zhou Huo. With that, he punched the ground forcefully, shattering it, and sending Li Yi flying into the air. Li Yi activated his shadow enhancement skill, retaliating with a swift dive. If you want to die first, I'll grant your wish. Streaks of red light and purple shadow intertwined in a dance of death. Li Yi poured all his strength into it, but was still pushed back step by step. He realized with a shock that even shadow enhancement couldn't withstand the opponent's attacks. Seizing the moment Li Yi was stunned, the red-haired man delivered a dangerous kick. Still distracted? The extremely powerful kick sent Li Yi flying backward. He plunged his twin blades into the ground, struggling to stop. Realizing the disadvantage in close combat, Li Yi shouted, Uncle Zhou Hao, fall back. The red-haired man licked his lips, his eyes filled with cruelty. Don't worry. Both of you will die today. In response to the provocation, Li Yi's eyes flared with an eerie purple light. A new, more terrifying power awakened. Let's see who dies. The dense shadow in Li Yi's hand shifted, condensing into a sharp dagger. Shadow shift, dagger. However, the surprise attack was blocked by invisible blood threads. The red-haired man sneered. Is that all? Undeterred, Li Yi roared. Of course not. He leaped high, delivering a fatal blow from above. The red-haired man remained nonchalant, his smile growing more cruel. A miner with so many tricks, but unfortunately, you're only an E rank. With that, he swung his hand, and razor-sharp blood threads tore through Li Yi's shadow defense. Just then, the ground behind the red-haired man suddenly burst open. Gu-er lunged forward, roaring with hatred. Blood leopard, die! Gu-er's body contorted, elongated, and tightly wrapped around the enemy. But the red-haired man merely sneered. I thought you'd hide until the very end. Too bad your skill is your greatest weakness. His eyes flared with a blazing red light, his voice savage. Close combat is my specialty. Gu-er realized in horror that blood threads were piercing through his body from within. What? Die! The red-haired man roared, and an explosion of energy tore Gu-er's body to shreds. Li Yi froze at the brutal sight. An awakener of C rank was defeated so easily. Realizing the insurmountable power gap, Li Yi quickly pulled Zhou Hao to flee. Our power difference is too great. Uncle Zhou Hao, we have to focus on escaping. The red-haired man laughed arrogantly, his eyes flashing with red electricity. Running? Do you think you can escape? Night fell, a crescent moon hanging low over the treetops. In a hidden corner of the forest, Li Yi was bandaging Zhou Hao's wounds. Let me treat your wounds first. When night falls, I'll find a way to sneak out. But Zhou Hao just shook his head. Just go alone. I'll only be a burden to you. Li Yi's gaze bore into the older man, trying to find an explanation. Uncle Zhou Hao, what did you do? Why does Blood Leopard want to kill you so badly? Zhou Hao avoided his gaze, his voice heavy. Because I might know the truth about your parents' deaths. A jolt ran down Li Yi's spine. The shock caused the dark energy within Li Yi to erupt, his eyes flashing with an eerie purple light. What? He grabbed Zhou Hao's shoulders, his voice strained. Uncle Zhou Hao, you know something, don't you? Tell me now. Zhou Hao began to recount, his voice trembling. At first, I wasn't sure. But Blood Leopard coming all the way here to hunt me down proves that Kuishi Hao is involved. Memories of the past flooded back. Zhou Hao recounted Li Yi's father's dying words. Before the accident, your father suspected Kuishi Hao was conducting dangerous experiments in the mine. A few days later, the accident happened, and your parents were framed for stealing ore. Rage flared. Li Yi gripped Zhou Hao's collar tightly. Why didn't you say anything then? Zhou Hao lowered his head, his voice filled with shame. I failed them. But I was just a miner. I couldn't lose my job. I still had to support my family. Li Yi pushed Zhou Hao away in utter disappointment. So you let my parents bear such a false accusation? Slumping to the ground, Zhou Hao bitterly admitted. I feel guilty too. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten drunk and told others, bringing disaster upon myself. Just as he finished speaking, the space was suddenly torn open by red energy threads. From the shadows, an unknown assailant struck. Li Yi could only widen his eyes in horror. Blood threads plunged directly into Zhou Hao, lifting his body into the air. Uncle Zhou Hao. In his final moments, Zhou Hao could only whisper a belated apology. I'm sorry. Zhou Hao's dying words had barely faded into the air when Li Yi's face turned icy cold. Li Yi, don't hate me. A savage voice cut through Li Yi's thoughts. The red-haired man, with a gruesome smile, recognized him. You look familiar. Turns out you're the son of that C-rank couple. As the cruel provocation ended, the red-haired man lunged forward like a predator. Then let me send you to reunite with your parents. But Li Yi was no pushover. You'll have to go through me first. Blazing red blood threads and purple shadow slashes clashed, sparking, creating a dance of death. The shadow weapon in Li Yi's hand vibrated violently, struggling to fend off the storm of attacks. The red-haired man's face stretched into a morbidly gleeful smile. How's this? The feeling of seeing your own flesh and blood splatter. Quite exhilarating, isn't it? Even though his body was torn, Li Yi's will did not falter. He roared. Your blood threads aren't invincible. Realizing the only opening, Li Yi gathered all his remaining strength, transforming the shadow into a colossal greatsword. The moment of attack is when defense is weakest. Take this. With a sky-shattering roar, Li Yi brought the greatsword down. Break! The red-haired man couldn't believe his eyes. What? The recoil force sent Li Yi flying backward, but his desperate attack had succeeded. The red-haired man's blood threads were broken. Clasping the wound on his chest, the red-haired man gritted his teeth. It was a life-for-life strike. A wound for a wound. You've got guts, kid, but the price was too high. Li Yi knelt down, having to use the greatsword plunged into the ground to support his exhausted body. Damn it. Have I reached my limit? Seeing Li Yi's state, the cruel smile returned to the red-haired man's lips. Turns out it was just a bluff. You gave me quite a scare. Immediately, razor-sharp blood threads pierced through Li Yi's body, pinning him in place. Pinned by the blood threads, Li Yi was completely helpless. The red-haired man scoffed. If you weren't just an E rank, I might have been finished. He lifted Li Yi into the air like a puppet, spreading his arms provocatively. Come on, kill me. Though his body was bound, Li Yi's eyes still burned with hatred. The red-haired man smirked. What's wrong? Still trying to kill me with your gaze? His savage laughter echoed. Every time I see ants like you show that unwilling expression, I get extremely excited. To add spice to Li Yi's despair, he decided to dig into the boy's emotional wounds. I'll tell you a secret. Blood threads tightened gently around Li Yi's neck, forcing him to listen. Zhou Hao only guessed half right. Your parents didn't die in a mining axe. He snarled each word, a cruel smile stretching to his ears. But died by my hand. The confession struck Li Yi like a lightning bolt. Blood seeped from the corners of his eyes. The red-haired man gloated. That's right, that very look. When I killed your mother, your father looked at me the exact same way. He continued to recall with pleasure, just staring at me, utterly helpless, while his wife was torn to pieces by me. But he didn't realize, a surge of dark purple energy was rising from Li Yi. Li Yi gritted his teeth, snarling out a name, Shui Bao. The red-haired man froze, realizing his threads were being incinerated. Li Yi's rage erupted into a colossal pillar of energy, blasting the red-haired man away. You bastard! He landed firmly on the ground, darkness swirling around him. Behind him, a colossal phantom slowly materialized. Jing Tian had awakened. Li Yi's eyes now held only bone-chilling hatred. I will tear you to shreds. The red-haired man observed the shadow entity, smirking. Just as expected, this brat can use hatred to stimulate the dark energy in his body. His words were like a prophecy. Dark energy violently erupted around Li Yi, upgrading his power to a new level. The shadow step skill officially awakened. Witnessing that scene, the red-haired man didn't flinch. Instead, he showed extreme excitement. Such severe injuries have already healed completely? Yes, just like that. He lunged forward like a predator, his glowing red claws tearing through the air. A struggling prey in its death throes is the most interesting, but his only reply was Li Yi's challenging smirk. Prey? Immediately, Li Yi dissolved into the shadows beneath his feet and suddenly reappeared behind the enemy, completely reversing their positions. In the shadows, you are the prey. Extremely surprised, the red-haired man gnashed his teeth. How did this kid's power suddenly increase so much? His speed is quite fast. He finished speaking as he spun around, dodging Li Yi's lightning-fast attack. But unfortunately, it's still not enough to kill me. Li Yi retreated, unfazed. Then try this move. Countless shadow-throwing knives were summoned, flying swiftly forward. The red-haired man simply swatted them all away with his claws. This move is useless against me. But that was just a feint. Li Yi smiled coldly. Is that so? He activated a skill, instantly teleporting to the position of one of the throwing knives. The distance was shortened in an instant. Then how about this move? A dark short blade formed in Li Yi's hand, aimed directly at the enemy. The blade clashed fiercely with the red-haired man's arm, but couldn't pierce it. Useless. Your toy knives can't even break through my defense. The red-haired man blocked the attack, his face full of smugness. Li Yi showed no disappointment. He pulled his weapon back, the short blade transforming into a curved scythe. Who said I intended to break your defense? Li Yi's eyes flashed with a purple light. He had seen through his opponent's weakness. You can't balance offense and defense. And that is your weakness. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Yi immediately struck. A storm of screaming shadow scythes rushed forward, surrounding the enemy from all directions. The red-haired man couldn't believe his eyes. Fresh blood spurted from the corner of his mouth. Impossible. His heavily injured body collapsed to the ground. He muttered bitterly. How could I lose to a mere minor? Li Yi stepped forward, his scythe pressed against the man's throat, his voice as cold as ice. Speak. What exactly happened with that mining accident back then? The red-haired man gritted his teeth, uttering a venomous provocation. I'll tell your mother. In response to the provocation, a streak of purple light flashed in an instant. The red-haired man stared in horror at his severed arm. My arm! His desperate scream echoed throughout the forest as his severed arm fell to the ground. Li Yi didn't flinch, his gaze sharp and cold, as if wanting to pierce through the opponent's soul. My patience has its limits. The excruciating pain broke his will. What if I tell you? It was all Kui Shihao's doing. His experiment was discovered by your father, and fearing the truth would be exposed, he ordered us to kill your parents, fabricating it as a mining accident. That name struck Li Yi's mind like a hammer blow. Kui Shihao. Seeing Li Yi stunned, the red-haired man sneered. What's wrong? Scared now that you know he's from the Ning Corporation? Don't dare to do anything anymore? But the threat came too late. His severed head was still muttering its last words. I advise you to obediently let me go. Li Yi turned his back on the headless corpse, his voice filled with hatred and iron determination. Those who killed my parents. I won't spare a single one. Night fell, and heavy raindrops began to fall. Under the pouring rain, Li Yi stood silently before the headquarters of the Ning Corporation. The target was clear. Amidst the cold rain, a familiar figure stepped out of a luxurious car. Li Yi recognized him immediately. Kui Shihao. Jing Tian appeared beside him, his tone full of warning. Even though you've reached C rank, I still have to remind you not to seek death. Jing Tian continued. You should also be able to sense an A rank awakener nearby. But Li had anticipated that. I know. The founder of the Ning Corporation, A rank awakener Ning Donghao, is also in the car. Li Yi reassured Jing Tian, his eyes still fixed on the moving car. Don't worry. I'm not reckless enough to attack Kui Shihao here. The night and the rain became his allies. Li Yi dashed away, leaping across rooftops. And I can't entirely trust what the blood leopard said. He needed answers. I have to find out for myself if my parents' deaths were ordered by Kui Shihao alone, or if the entire Ning Corporation was involved. Looking down from above, Li Yi's eyes turned cold. Even if Ning Donghao isn't involved, I don't care. So what if he's A rank? Blood debt must be paid with blood. The car finally stopped at a secluded warehouse. Li Yi narrowed his eyes. The Blood Leopard Gang's warehouse. What is Kui Shihao doing here in the middle of the night? Inside, a muscular man was directing his subordinates. Be careful, these are all experimental equipment. Kui Shihao turned to the man, his tone cold. Is that old miner surnamed Wu dead yet? The man replied. The Blood Leopard's hideout is unknown, and the gate to the prison he used to sneak in has also disappeared. We can't confirm if he's alive or dead. Kui Shihao looked puzzled. What's going on? Isn't the Blood Leopard C rank? The man crossed his arms. He must have underestimated them. Kui Shihao ordered. Quickly move these devices inside before anything happens. The man agreed. This is a critical stage of the experiment. There can be no mistakes. As both stepped inside, the man asked, Is the money ready? Kui Shihao replied confidently, Don't worry. As for the money. From the shadows, Li Yi's eyes flared with an eerie purple light. All the pieces fit. Kui Shihao, so it really was you. Li Yi's murderous intent, as soon as it erupted, was sensed by the man next to Kui Shihao. Without hesitation, he unleashed a fierce fire attack onto the ground. Who's there? Kui Shihao asked, startled. What's wrong? The man replied, his face full of doubt. A hallucination? I swear I just felt murderous intent. From the shadows, Li Yi held his breath and observed. He was almost discovered. C-rank power still seems insufficient for a direct confrontation. Leaving the warehouse, Li Yi's next target was the Qin Corporation building, Qin Shaoshang's domain. Jing Tian materialized beside him and asked, Hey, why aren't you looking for a job this morning and instead came here? Of course, I came to find the third fragment, Li Yi replied. And while I'm at it, see how much your weapon is worth. As he stepped into the lobby, a female employee politely approached him. Sir, how may I help you? I'm looking for Qin Xian. Li Yi got straight to the point. The female employee looked troubled. Do you have an appointment, sir? A shrill voice rang out. You penniless miner, this isn't where you belong. And you dare to call the young lady by her first name? Li Yi recognized the speaker. Su Qing? Su Qing pouted beside Qin Shaoshang. Young Master Qin, this beggar is polluting the air too much. Aren't you going to kick him out? The bodyguards immediately surrounded Li Yi. He remained calm. Is this how Longmen Sanji treats its guest? Qin Shaoshang sneered. Guest? A beggar like you counts as a guest? You're not even fit to be a dog for the Qin family. Li Yi's eyes turned cold. Are all the Qin family members this arrogant and overbearing? It seems there's no need to contact Qin Xiyin anymore. Li Yi turned to leave. Well then, I'm off. But Qin Shaoshang growled. Leave? No way. He pointed at Li Yi, roaring his command. Break his arms and legs! The bodyguards rushed forward, unaware that Li Yi's eyes were already glowing with deadly purple light. Using his shadow step skill, Li Yi moved like a ghost through the encirclement, taking down everyone in an instant. Qin Shaoshang only managed to receive a devastating punch to the face. Immediately after, Li Yi grabbed Qin Shaoshang by the collar and lifted him up. Su Qing panicked but still tried to threaten loudly. You'd better release young Master Qin, or the Qin family won't let you off. Li Yi didn't even care. Annoying. He coldly swung his hand, delivering a fiery slap to Su Qing. The group lay scattered on the floor. Li Yi stood in the middle, calmly declaring, Today, out of respect for Qin Xiyin, I'll spare you. Those words were the ultimate humiliation. Qin Shaoshang roared in anger, flames of fury erupting around him. Damn it, who do you think you are? He charged like a fireball, his blazing fist aimed directly at Li Yi. "I'll kill you right now." In response, dark energy surged on Li Yi's arm as well. Their eyes met, one side cold and deadly, the other burning with hatred. A battle to the death was about to erupt, but at the decisive moment, a man wearing a mask suddenly appeared, blocking Qin Shaoshang's punch. "Stop!" An icy female voice rang out from behind, full of authority. How audacious, daring to cause trouble at the Qin Corporation. Qin had arrived, her bloodshot eyes locked onto Li Yi. Qin Shaoshang was overjoyed, quickly tattling. "You're dead for sure. Daring to cause trouble at the Qin Corporation, my sister won't let you off." Qin crossed her arms, her gaze sharp, and commanded, "Throw him out." Qin Shaoshang smirked, adding, "Sister, that's too light. We should break his arms and legs." Before he could finish, Qin grabbed Qin Shaoshang by the collar, lifting him up to everyone's astonishment. Qin Shaoshang was completely stunned. "Sister, what are you doing?" "I'm Qin Shaoshang, your cousin." Su Qing rushed over, pointing at Li Yi to explain. "Grand young lady, it was this poor miner who dared to call you by your name. Young Master Qin was only defending you." Qin coldly cut her off. "He is my friend. What's wrong with calling me by my name?" That statement settled everything, Qin decisively ordered. "Throw these arrogant bodyguards and petty employees out. Never rehire them." Thrown out, Su Qing desperately clung on. "Young Master Qin, I'm your girlfriend. Say something. I've already given myself to you." But all pleas were meaningless before Qin's sharp, cold gaze. "Qin Shaoshang, you should change your name to Qin Beast instead," she warned. "If you dare to use the Qin family's name to deceive again, I won't spare you." After dealing with the troublesome group, Qin turned to Li Yi. "I didn't expect you to come. Come in and sit with me." In the hallway, Qin broke the silence. "I apologize. A distant relative has made you laugh." Li Yi simply replied calmly. "It's fine. Every family has a few mischievous members." They stopped before a door. A female employee stepped out. "Young lady, Chairman Qin wants to see you." Qin gestured for Li Yi to follow her. "This way." She turned back to instruct Li Yi. "Excuse me, wait for me a moment. I'll be right back." He just nodded. "It's fine, you go ahead." But as soon as Qin stepped in, the female employee turned to Li Yi. "Chairman Qin didn't say anything, just asked you to come in immediately." Li Yi was slightly surprised. "Is something important?" The heavy door slowly opened. Immediately, an invisible pressure, heavy as Mount Tai, suddenly descended. From the darkness within, a deep voice echoed, aimed directly at Li Yi. "Kid." A white-haired man with an imposing aura stepped out of the room. "Who exactly are you?" At the same time, Li Yi's dark eye activated, analyzing his opponent. Li Yi's eye flashed purple as the information appeared. Rank A, and possessing dual skill. Despite this, Li Yi maintained a calm expression. "Senior, is there some misunderstanding? I'm just a miner." He thought to himself, "This kind of mental attack is completely useless against me." Qin Lei frowned, surprised that his psychological attack had no effect. He sneered. A miner? I'm afraid it's not that simple." With that, Qin Lei unleashed his power, sending Li Yi flying backward. Furious golden lightning bolts poured out from Qin Lei's body, transforming the entire room into a death zone filled with electric light. Standing firm amidst the electrical storm, Li Yi left Qin Lei astonished. "You can withstand my attack, yet you still dare to say you're just a rank B miner?" Qin Lei's eyes blazed with killing intent. "Speak. What is your purpose in faking your identity to approach Cian? If you're not honest, don't blame me." He roared the name he suspected. "Qin Shaoshang." Just as the tension was palpable, Qin suddenly appeared, grabbing her father's ear. "Did you intentionally send me away just to interrogate my friend? Are you so idle that you're causing trouble?" Qin Lei was flustered in front of Li Yi. "Calm down. There's a guest here. Save some face for your dad." But Qin showed no mercy. "An old man like you still cares about face? Get lost. Don't bother my friend." Li Yi was stunned, the name just mentioned lingering in his mind. Qin Shaoshang, the owner of Longman Street No. 3? After Qin Lei had been chased away, Qin turned with an apologetic look. "I'm sorry, my dad is like that. He always thinks anyone who gets close to me has bad intentions." Li Yi just gave a wry smile. "It's understandable. He's just worried you'll be deceived." Qin was a little surprised. "You seem to understand my dad well, don't you?" Li Yi scratched his head. "It's hard not to." Meanwhile, Qin Lei stood from afar, muttering all his thoughts aloud without realizing it. "Is this brat interested in my daughter? I've raised my princess for 18 years. I can't let her suffer any disadvantage." Li Yi could only shake his head. He's speaking all his thoughts out loud. Qin's rage reached its peak, her shout echoing throughout the building. "Qin Lei, get out of my sight!" After settling the family matter, The two sat down at the work table. Qin handed Li Yi a card. "There's 5 million deposit in here." Li Yi nodded. "All right, but I also came for something else." Li Yi took out a blue crystal shard. "Do you know where to find this?" Qin pondered deeply. These unidentified fragments from other dimensions used to be very common, but recently someone has been buying them in large quantities, making them very rare on the market. She gave him a suggestion. "But you could try going to the auction on Longman Street number 3. You might find it there." Li Yi nodded slightly in thanks. As soon as Qin left, Jing Tian appeared behind Li Yi, his voice full of gravity. "Someone is collecting the fragments. Could it be related to them?" At the same time, in a secret office, the masked man was reporting to his superior. Li Yi, 20 years old, was originally an ordinary person, only identified as rank E a few days ago. But because he has no special energy, he's still just a minor. The white-haired man sitting at the desk picked up the report, his eyes full of suspicion. From rank E to rank C in just a few days? Or has this kid always been hiding his true strength? The masked man got straight to the point. "Lao Huo, what brings you here today?" The white-haired director replied. "Old man, is that greatsword your daughter sent still around?" On the phone, the white-haired director answered evasively. "Not entirely sure. Why? Go ask how many are left and take them all." The other end of the line seemed to realize something. "You old fox, how sharp are you? That sword definitely has a special use, doesn't it?" The white-haired director's expression turned serious. "I can't reveal too much. I can only say that the material of that sword can enhance the overall strength of our army." After the phone call, the white-haired director fell into deep thought. Li Yi's power and identity were too mysterious. Even the weapon he casually took out was extraordinary. He concluded that Li Yi was truly difficult to see through. Meanwhile, at an exhibition, Li Yi was strolling leisurely. "There are quite a few items here. Perhaps there really are fragments." Suddenly, a familiar voice reached Li Yi's ears. Su Qing was cuddling Zhou Huo, whining. "Young Master Zhou, I really have nothing to do with that Qin Teng. I even quit my job at the Qin Corporation." Zhou Huo replied arrogantly. "If you quit, you quit. From now on, I'll take care of you." Su Qing continued to act coy, but then her tone turned resentful. "Young Master Zhou is so good to me. That damn minor, hasn't Lord Shuibao dealt with him yet?" As soon as they finished speaking, both froze. Li Yi was already standing right behind them. "Tell me, how did a minor like me sneak in here?" Li Yi smirked, his eyes sharp as knives. "It seems your memory isn't very good, is it?" A surge of dark purple energy erupted around Li Yi, an invisible pressure weighing heavily on the air. "Have you forgotten how it felt when I slapped you in the face the other day?" Zhu Huo and Su Qing's faces drained of color, and they trembled as they backed away. "You. Don't come any closer." Suddenly, a large hand rested on Zhu Huo's shoulder, stopping him. A burly man appeared, his voice full of disdain. "Zhu Huo, you're truly disgracing our leopard gang." Zhu Huo recognized the newcomer in horror. "Leopard? Leopard bro?" The leopard gang leader turned to face Li Yi, his bloodshot eyes filled with killing intent. "Hitting my man is hitting the leopard gang." His hand glowed crimson, pressing down hard on Li Yi's shoulder with immense force. "Now, kneel and apologize to me." A terrifying sound echoed as the ground beneath Li Yi's feet cracked open from the immense pressure. Despite the terrifying pressure, Li Yi merely smirked, his eyes glowing with an eerie purple. "Make me kneel? Dream on." Li Yi's resilience surprised the gang leader slightly. Zhu Huo stood beside him, scoffing. "I didn't expect you to be so stubborn, kid. Daring to offend Leopard Bro." The brawl was quickly interrupted. A man in a blue suit blocked the gang leader. "Leopard Bro, this is Longman Sand Street. We welcome you to spend money." But a stern warning came from Qin, who had just appeared with eyes as cold as ice. "But if you want to cause trouble, we're ready for it." Recognizing Qin, the gang leader immediately retracted his killing intent, showing deference. "All right, out of respect for Miss Qin today." The gang leader grumbled and turned away, entering the auction area with his subordinates. Qin turned to ask Li Yi. "Li Yi, are you all right?" "I'm fine." In another corner, the gang leader pressed Zhu Huo about Li Yi's identity. "He's the one who stole your treasured sword and even declared he'd wipe out the entire leopard gang." Hearing this, the furious gang leader grabbed Zhu Huo by the collar. "What? Are you sure?" Su Qing quickly confirmed. "It's him. I can testify too." Just then, an older man with a mustache appeared, asking, "What about Leopard Bro?" The gang leader turned back, pointing at Li Yi. "That kid was one of Shu Bao's targets last time, and he's still alive?" A terrifying speculation arose. Could it be? He killed Shu Bao? But Zhu Ho immediately dismissed it. Impossible. He's just a useless E-ranker. Suddenly, Li Yi's gaze locked onto a figure. Dark energy surged as he growled a name. "Kui Shihao." Cui Shihao, the one with the eye patch, immediately sensed the killing intent and turned around. It's that kid. He recalled Li Yi's weak appearance in the past, a complete contrast to the present. That timid, useless piece of trash from back then? Surprise was evident on Cui Shihao's face. He couldn't understand why the person he thought was dead was appearing next to Qin. How could he be with Qin Xiyin? Why am I here? Li Yi asked, breaking the silence in the luxurious hallway. Qin replied concisely. My father suddenly wants to see you. Memories of their previous encounter made Li Yi wary. He won't lay a hand on me again, will he? Qin reassured him. Don't worry, with me here, he wouldn't dare. As soon as the reassurance ended, a familiar, sarcastic voice rang out from behind. I didn't expect to see you here, nephew. Cui Shihao and his burly subordinate blocked their path. Li Yi turned around, a sneer on his face. I'm just a small fry who has to work in the mines to pay off debts. How could I dare to aspire to be like a director of NG like you? Cui Shihao feigned an explanation, trying to shake off responsibility. What happened to your parents was a decision from higher-ups. I wanted to help, but I was powerless. You're really washing your hands clean. Li Yi's eyes flashed with a cold blue light as he glanced over. You know best what the truth is in your heart. He suddenly stopped, delivering a cryptic message. Oh, right, Uncle Hao asked me to pass on a message. Paper can't wrap fire. Those who commit many evil deeds will surely face retribution. The subordinate angrily moved to charge forward. This brat needs a beating. But Cui Shihao stopped him. This is Qin Shaoshang's territory. We can't act here. Since this kid knows things he shouldn't, send someone to eliminate him. Cui Shihao's eyes flashed with killing intent. The subordinate bowed in obedience. Yes, I'll arrange it immediately. Leaving the two conspirators behind, Qin led Li Yi into a private room. Father, I've brought Li Yi. At the same time, the auction officially began. Qin instructed Li Yi. The auction has begun. You can talk to my father first. If there's an item you want, I'll let you know. Li Yi nodded in thanks. With only the two of them left, Li Yi got straight to the point. May I ask why Chairman Qin wanted to see me? Qin Lei didn't beat around the bush either. I'll be direct. The weapons you sent Qin to sell last time, do you have any more? Qin Lei asked. Li Yi thought to himself. Qin Lei had to personally show up. It seems he truly craves the Jingtian clan's weapons. He decided to hold some back. Releasing too many at once was both unsafe and would affect the price. I just happened to pick them up. I still have 2 items left. Qin Lei immediately made an offer. How about this? Including the previous item, I'll pay you an additional 40 million, a total of 45 million. What do you say? 15 million per item isn't low, Li Yi calmly replied. But you also know, for people like us, weapons are lifesavers. Qin Lei narrowed his eyes. So what do you mean? With a calm expression, Li Yi stated his own price. 25 million per item. That figure stunned Qin Lei. The shock quickly turned into anger. This kid, he really dares to name his price. Just then, Qin spoke up. Li Yi, what you were looking for has arrived. The appearance of a mysterious cloaked figure made Qin Lei hesitate. He growled out the newcomer's name, syllable by syllable. Qin. Shaoshang. All right. I'll transfer the remaining 70 million to you right now. The deal complete. Li Yi and Qin departed, leaving Qin Lei grinding his teeth in fury. That brat. The scene shifted to a lively auction, where colossal figures were continuously called out, and then, the centerpiece item appeared on stage, a sparkling blue crystal. Li Yi's gaze locked onto the crystal. There really is a fragment here. With over 70 million in hand, it should be enough to win. Without hesitation, Li Yi raised paddle number 9, opening with a shocking bid. 30 million. Li Yi's opening bid immediately caught Cui Shihao's attention. It's Li Yi. Why is that kid bidding on this item? In response, Cui Shihao raised paddle number 2, his voice full of provocation. 50 million. Let's see how much money you have to compete with me. Immediately, Li Yi raised the price without thinking, surprising even Qin. 60 million. Seeing the tense situation, Qin Lei leaned in and whispered to Li Yi. Kid, this item isn't worth that much. Don't waste the money you just earned. But Li Yi ignored their advice. His target was no longer the auctioned item. Cui Shihao, you want it, but I'll contend for it to the very end. He turned back, facing Qin Lei. Between the Qin Corporation and the NG Corporation, Li Yi's eyes were sharp, his smile full of challenge. Which one has more money? Amidst the lively bidding outside, Qin Lei crossed his arms, a look of smugness on his face. Of course, this is my Qin Corporation, but why should I help you? In response, Li Yi said nothing, merely silently summoned 2 sharp swords that floated in midair. Because I have this, I'll take these 2 items at the previous price. Li Yi got straight to the point. But with this little money, you can't compete with others. Qin still looked doubtful, but Li Yi merely smirked confidently. Li Yi's assertiveness made Qin ponder. Could this kid have more than that in his hands? Suddenly, a hand reached out from behind and grabbed Qin ear. Don't fuss over such a small amount of money. If Li Yi can't pay, I will, all right? Qin appeared, her sharp gaze immediately silencing Qin. The bidding continued to echo. Qin tightly gripped Li Yi's hand. Without hesitation, Qin pulled Li Yi back to the auction floor. Li Yi, hurry up, that villain is about to snatch it. Immediately, Li Yi raised placard number 9, his voice clear and strong. 100 million. Another voice rang out almost instantly. Kui Shihao, holding placard number 2, coldly retorted. 200 million, he muttered, determined to win this item for the corporation's plan. The price war erupted. 300 million, 400 million, 500 million. Insane figures were thrown out, causing the entire hall to buzz with talk about the two wealthy individuals burning through their fortune. Standing behind Kui Shihao, the burly man growled. Chairman Kui, that kid is clearly opposing us. Kui Shihao narrowed his eyes, disdainful. He's not even qualified. To extinguish all hope from his opponent, Kui Shihao raised his placard, shouting an unbelievable figure. 1 billion. The entire hall fell silent at the colossal figure. Li Yi, that bastard is provoking us. Qin was furious, but Li Yi kept a cool head. He noticed something unusual. No, with Kui Shihao's personality, he wouldn't risk such a huge loss. Unless, Qin approached again, whispering with a worried expression. Kid, think carefully. This is already 1 billion. Can you really produce that many weapons? Qin brushed aside Qinlei's words, her eyes burning with determination. I said I'd cover the deficit. Don't spoil the mood. Li Yi, bid quickly. Don't let that villain succeed. Responding to Qin's encouragement, Li Yi decisively raised placard number 9. 2 billion. The figure shocked the entire hall, immediately confirmed by the auctioneer. Kui Shihao was stunned, while Li Yi merely smirked provocatively. The auction entered its final stage. 2 billion, going once. Kui Shihao's face darkened, and he gritted his teeth, wondering, damn it, where did this kid get so much money? Rage flared, and Kui Shihao's eyes glowed red. He could only blame one person. It must be Qin Shaoshang. Otherwise, how could he have 2 billion? 2 billion, going 3 times. The gavel struck decisively, determining the winner, the auctioneer announced. Congratulations to buyer number 9 for winning the nameless fragment. Qin cheered excitedly. Amazing. Li Yi, however, seemed indifferent. Is it really worth getting so excited about? Qin suddenly appeared, clearing his throat. Qin happily explained. I just like seeing villains get slapped in the face. But Qin was not joking. He looked directly at Li Yi, his voice full of authority. You really like shouting prices, but that's 20 billion. Subtracting the previous items, you still have to hand over more than 70 items. Can you really produce the corresponding number of weapons? Qin questioned, his eyes full of doubt. Li Yi remained confident. The rarer an item, the higher its value. When there are too many, the price naturally cannot be calculated that way. A decisive snap of his fingers. A multitude of swords poured onto the floor from a spatial gate, their sharp aura spreading throughout the room. Qin was astonished, her mouth agape. There are over 100 items here, enough to pay 20 billion, right? Li Yi asked. Qin smiled meaningfully, already having his own calculations in mind. This kid is very straightforward. His demeanor and strength are truly impressive. If I can utilize him, Qin looked at Li Yi, her eyes sparkling. Li Yi, next time something fun happens, remember to call me, Qin playfully suggested. But Qin immediately dismissed it, calling out sternly. See in, come home with me. They turned and left. Li Yi watched them go, then spoke. Then I must thank Chairman Qin. Now it was time to claim his spoils. Before leaving, Qin Shaoshang threw back a cryptic piece of advice. You have methods I don't know, but the NG Corporation is not simple either. It's not something you can shake on your own. The alliance offer was made, a recognition for Li Yi. Sometimes, it's necessary to ally with those who share the same goals. If you're interested, you can contact me. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a conspiracy was being orchestrated. The burly man hung up the phone. All right, I understand. He reported back to Kui Shihao. Qin Shaoshang and his daughter have left. The one who took the fragment is that kid, Li Yi. Kui Shihao gave the order, his eyes flashing with cruelty. We will wait until he leaves the sphere of influence of Longman Sand Street before acting, to avoid any further incident. The burly man smirked, his bloodshot eyes full of confidence. Don't worry, this time I've had Jusha bring 3 C-rank experts. It's a sure thing. Li Yi strode down the empty street, unaware that he had become a target. He was still pondering the earlier offer. It seems Qin Shaoshang has gathered quite a bit of information about me. That last sentence was clearly an attempt to win me over. Jing Tian appeared, beginning his familiar song and dance. If not restrained by him, an alliance for more support wouldn't be bad. But he's only A rank. As long as you have enough fragments, I guarantee you'll easily become S rank. Li Yi glanced at Jing Tian skeptically. I trust you, isn't that why I'm looking for a place to start my challenge? But in his mind, it was a different thought. Asterisk, trust my ass. Do you think S rank is just cabbage at the market? Asterisk. As if reading Li Yi's thoughts, Jing Tian immediately bristled. There are only 9 S rank individuals in the entire world. You say it's easy? Go try it yourself. Oh, forget it. It's best not to say anything more to provoke him. The bickering suddenly stopped. A sense of unease welled up in Li Yi's heart. Immediately after, a terrifying explosion echoed from the direction of the apartment complex. His rented apartment was engulfed in flames. Chaos enveloped the scene. Screams and cries tore through the night as people frantically fled. Amidst the chaos, Li Yi's phone rang. On the other end was Qin's urgent voice. Li Yi, I just received intelligence. The black leopard is hunting you. Li Yi looked up at the burning building, his voice turning cold. I think they've already made their move. Qin's offer of help rang out, but it was too late. In front of Li Yi, the black leopard's henchman had already appeared. He calmly replied, No need to worry, I can handle it myself. Zhu Huo stepped out, an arrogant smile on his face. Finally decided to show up. Huh? Get down on your knees and beg me. Who knows, maybe I'll take pity and spare your dog life. In response to him, Li Yi put away his phone, his purple eyes glowing amidst swirling dark energy. The black leopard really underestimates me, huh? Only sending a few of you to throw your lives away? 2 other henchmen appeared, weapons at the ready. One spoke disdainfully. You're the one who's going to die. How can a puny E rank like you fight against 3 C rank powerhouses like us? Facing 3 enemies, Li Yi remained unfazed. He merely countered with a loaded question. Then why don't you consider, why couldn't Shui Bao kill me? That question made them pause for a moment. But then one of them brushed aside the doubt. Don't let him fool you. He's just a minor. Believing Li Yi was completely incapable of fighting, a henchman immediately charged forward. He swung his sharp saber from behind, aiming straight for Li Yi's nape, but the slash only cut through air. The blade plunged into the ground, while the target had vanished without a trace. In a flash, Li Yi appeared behind him, his hand gathered with dark energy. That's right, he whispered. I'm just a minor. The 2 remaining men froze, unable to believe their eyes at that terrifying speed. How could? When did he get there? Seeing the situation was not good, Zhu Huo frantically yelled, Go! Both of you charge him together! But it was too late. Dark tentacles lashed out, easily taking down the 2 henchmen. At the same time, Li Yi had grabbed Zhu Huo by the neck, his voice full of sarcasm. You're also a man of the underworld. Why are you afraid of a minor like me? Li Yi's smile turned dangerous, his purple eyes flashing with a deadly glint. You really like playing with fire, don't you? Extreme terror was evident on Zhu Huo's face. He stammered, pleading, Ah, Li Yi, let go. Then let me give you a good game. With that, Li Yi flung Zhu Huo towards the flames, ignoring his meaningless threats. Boss Kuei and Leopard Bro won't let you get away with this. Zhu Huo's screams were swallowed by the raging inferno. To the final threat echoing from the flames, Li Yi coldly replied, Don't worry, I'll send them down to reunite with you soon enough. Qin and the masked man approached. Li Yi, are you all right? He casually brushed them off. I'm fine, just a few small fries. What are you going to do next? Li Yi didn't hesitate, his gaze sharpening. They made the first move, so of course, I'll retaliate. Hearing this, Qin resolutely spoke up. Then I'll help you. Li Yi was a little surprised. Why do you want to help me? Qin was frank. I've been annoyed by the leopard gang for a long time, and they dared to lay a hand on my friend. She hesitated, her cheeks flushing. You're one of the few friends I have. The unexpected confession made Li Yi ponder. Friends? A mysterious smile appeared on Li Yi's lips. All right, he decided. Then let's start by taking down the leopard gang. Qin led Li Yi to a luxurious apartment. Before you find a new place, you can stay here. No one usually lives here, so feel free to choose any room. Li Yi didn't stand on ceremony, heading straight for a room. Then I'll take this room. Qin frantically stopped him. Wait, except for that room. That room is off limits, but it was too late. The door opened, revealing a space filled with pink and stuffed animals. Li Yi blurted out, How feminine. He turned to look at Qin, a teasing smile on his face. But it actually suits you. Qin stammered. I thought the heir of the Qin Corporation would find these things. It's normal for girls to like these things, isn't it? Li Yi gently pushed Qin into the room. You look much cuter than your usual cold demeanor. That remark stunned Qin, her face flushing. Cuter? No one has ever used that word for me. Amidst the awkward atmosphere, Qin's stomach suddenly rumbled, breaking the silence. Teased by Li Yi, Qin was both embarrassed and annoyed. You're still laughing? If I hadn't been worried about you, I wouldn't be this hungry. In response to her grumbling, a purple light flashed in Li Yi's hand, conjuring all sorts of food. Li Yi held out the food to the stunned Qin. Eat this for now, even if it's just emergency rations. Qin was still amazed, her curiosity overriding her hunger. Where did you get it from? I was wondering about it at the auction. I know magic, Li Yi replied curtly, making Qin even more interested. Can you teach me? Suddenly, a flicker of vigilance appeared in Li Yi's eyes. He had sensed another presence. Li Yi immediately changed his demeanor, urging Qin. You should go home first. But from within the bushes, a figure was silently observing. That person was Qin Lei, muttering like a jealous father seeing his daughter with a strange boy. Realizing he had been discovered, Li Yi could only sigh. If you don't go home soon, I think your father will eat me alive. Qin Lei's rage finally erupted, his shouts echoing throughout the villa area. Qin Shaoshang, leaving the chaos behind, Li Yi returned to his new apartment. This place belongs to Longman Street, number 3 territory. No one will bother us here. As soon as he finished speaking, Jing Tian emerged from the shadows, listing the fragments Li Yi had collected. Lava Minotaur, Blood Leopard, Auction House. Let's begin. Li Yi thoughtfully watched the fragments converge, forming a vortex of energy. He always wondered about the connection between them and the spatial rift. Jing Tian began to explain. These fragments are just part of the otherworld prison gate. Every rift in your world is connected to them. Enter, Jing Tian commanded. But Li Yi remained still, questioning. Since you know so much, explain exactly what the otherworld is. They stepped into another space, a desolate desert stretching to the horizon. Li Yi wondered why countless different races emerged from here. Jing Tian coldly declared a horrifying truth. They are all prisoners. What you call the otherworld is actually a colossal spatial prison. Li Yi was stunned, muttering in extreme disbelief. Prison? Prisoners? Jing Tian offered no further explanation, only a single path. If you want more answers, just complete all the challenges here, and they will come to you. As soon as he finished speaking, a colossal dark tower, chained by purple energy tendrils, majestically appeared in the desert. This is the Sky Tower, my proudest masterpiece, and your trial ground. Li Yi squinted, silently criticizing Jing Tian's bizarre aesthetic taste. Meanwhile, Jing Tian muttered to himself, vowing to restrain himself in the face of the one whose soul already belonged to him. They entered the tower's vast main hall. Li Yi got straight to the point. What's the challenge? Jing Tian explained that the Sky Tower had 6 floors, and with Li Yi's current strength, just defeating the Shadow Dragon on the first floor would be excellent. Shadow Dragon? Li Yi raised an eyebrow, the name sounding formidable. You mean that? A colossal shadow of a winged creature was imprinted on the towering wall. Yet, Li Yi felt no pressure emanating from it. From the shadows, a spiky tail, clawed feet, and a fiery orange reptilian eye gradually emerged. But contrary to expectations, the creature that appeared was a tiny lizard with delicate wings. Li Yi couldn't help but laugh. This is a shadow dragon? Isn't it just a gecko? Li Yi crossed his arms, his face full of mockery. Wouldn't hitting it be bullying the weak? Jing Tian coldly warned. Laugh while you still can. You won't be laughing later. Ignoring the warning, Li Yi squatted down, extending his hand as if to coax a pet. Come here, little one. Suddenly, a deadly sense of danger washed over Li Yi, making him freeze, his eyes wide with astonishment. The small creature's eyes suddenly glowed, its pupil contracting into a streak of pure white energy. A terrifying purple surge of power erupted from the gecko, blasting Li Yi backward. Blown away by the surprise attack, Li Yi somersaulted in the air, struggling to land on the stone floor. Before Li Yi, a colossal dark dragon materialized, its power amplified to an unimaginable degree. Li Yi was stunned by the 600% growth, 3 times his own capabilities. Jing Tian scoffed. Your physique is even weaker than my pet's. Provoked, Li Yi roared. Weaker than it? Are you kidding me? The dark dragon immediately lunged to attack. Li Yi swiftly flipped in the air, dodging the monster's deadly dive. In retaliation, he spun and launched an aerial attack, aiming directly for the opponent's blind spot. Don't you understand? The bigger the size, the more blind spots there are. Sharp shadow claws raked across the dark dragon's back, but the attack only sparked a few harmless flashes. Its defenses were too solid. Li Yi froze, unable to believe his eyes. The dark dragon powerfully whipped its tail, sending Li Yi flying. Jing Tian coldly remarked, Still holding back? With your current skill, It's just scratching an itch for it. Realizing the disparity, Li Yi no longer hesitated. His eyes flared with purple light as he activated shadow enhancement. Jing Tian observed, his voice echoing, "If you can't tame it, you'll never complete the first trial." Shadow energy surged, and Li Yi unleashed a furious barrage of slashes towards the dark dragon. Yet, the monster stood firm amidst the storm of energy, completely unharmed. Jing Tian smirked, as if he had foreseen the outcome. His skills are quite proficient now. Time to increase the difficulty. Jing Tian's gaze shifted to the dark dragon, a mysterious smile appearing. "You must be hungry, too, right?" In response to Jing Tian's words, the dark dragon materialized, but Li Yi heard a puzzling sentence. "That thing is edible." Immediately, it opened its enormous mouth, intending to swallow Li Yi in one bite. Li Yi swiftly dodged the lightning-fast attack. The beast's fiery red eyes fixated on Li Yi, drool dripping from the corners of its mouth. Jing Tian explained, "You drained its energy, now it sees you as a nourishing meal." Li Yi snapped, "Hey, has this pet been vaccinated? Why does it look so weird?" The dark dragon lunged again, this time aiming directly for Li Yi's arm. "That's unfair. Who allows biting in a proper fight?" But then an idea flashed in Li Yi's mind, and a sly smile appeared. "If you're hungry, try this. Witness my ultimate technique," Li Yi shouted, swinging his arm to release shadow energy. But instead of sharp blades, what flew out was a fragrant fried chicken drumstick. The dark dragon looked bewildered, then instinctively snatched the unexpected treat. Li Yi's eyes flashed purple. "That's right, it's delicious." Immediately, countless shadow tentacles carrying chicken drumsticks surged towards the dark dragon, burying it in a rain of food. A notification panel appeared before Li Yi. Dark dragon tamed successfully. Access to the first floor granted. The dark dragon now obediently gnawed on the chicken drumstick, completely subdued. Prison gate bound and activated. Authority received. Li Yi wondered. Authority to bind and activate? What for? His only reply was Jing Tian's cold snort. Jing Tian explained the mechanism of the new authority. Each spatial fragment, once charged with energy, would become a gate connected to the prison. "So if I bind these spatial fragments, I can open the gates at will?" Li Yi asked. "Exactly." Realizing the immense potential of this skill, Li Yi couldn't hide his excitement. Such an amazing skill just from the first floor? The rewards from the next 5 floors must be incredible. But his complacency was met only with a scornful smile from Jing Tian. "You just cheated your way through the first floor, and you're already complacent? Let's see how he handles the second floor." He continued to provoke. "Go ahead and try. The guards are just the tower's stewards and servants anyway." Those words only heightened Li Yi's suspicion. "I have a feeling he's up to something. Are they shape-shifting monsters again?" Despite his doubts, Li Yi stepped into the teleportation circle, preparing for the next challenge. If the pet on the first floor was C rank, the second floor definitely won't be simple. Magical light enveloped both of them, taking them to the next floor. Jing Tian issued a challenge. "If you don't believe me, just watch first and then decide." The enormous gate of the second floor appeared before them. "There's no real danger," Jing Tian said, his voice full of hidden meaning. With no other choice, Li Yi decided to face whatever awaited beyond. All right. But as soon as the door creaked open, the sight inside stunned him. Before him were not one, but 3 C-rank monsters. The Lei Wangshe, the Shui Jiangui, and a fiery minotaur. Li Yi turned back, giving Jing Tian a sarcastic look. "You call these servants?" Giving him no more time, the Lei Wangshe roared thunderously, charging straight forward. A heaven-shaking tail whip sent Li Yi flying, causing him to lose balance in midair. He quickly regained his footing, his eyes narrowing as he realized the perilous situation. Behind him, the door had been completely sealed. The only escape route was gone. Cornered, Li Yi faced the giant python roaring a deadly command. "Annihilate all intruders." Without hesitation, Li Yi activated Shadow Step, his body dissolving into shadow before reappearing right behind the monster. Immediately, he unleashed enhanced shadow arts, summoning 2 powerful shadow warriors to stand guard in front of him. Li Yi and his subordinates plunged into the chaotic battle with the horde of monsters. A sharp shadow sword slash swept out, pushing all enemies back towards the stone gate. With all his might, Li Yi herded the monsters out, preparing to seal the passage. The enormous stone gate slammed shut with an earth-shattering sound, trapping the monsters inside. Exhausted, Li Yi collapsed, panting. "You did this on purpose. You tricked me, saying it was just full of servants." Jing Tian appeared with a mocking expression. "I didn't lie. They are indeed servants. It's just that your abilities are too weak." He explained that those monsters actually only did chores like heating, providing electricity, cleaning floors, and carrying things. Suddenly, a system alert sounded, signaling an A-rank creature approaching. Just outside, Qin Lei and Qin had appeared. Qin looked surprised. Why are they here now? The scene shifted to a luxurious room. Qin Lei got straight to the point. I heard Xian say you want to deal with the Black Leopard gang? Li Yi's eyes sharpened. That's right. Instead of passively defending, I'd rather actively attack. Qin Lei looked directly at him. The Black Leopard gang has provoked me many times, but I haven't acted yet. Do you know why? Because you're afraid of breaking the balance? Qin Lei confirmed Li Yi's guess. That's right. The three major powers of High City are restraining each other. He further explained the power dynamic. Yu Tianchu controls politics. Ning Dongyu's NG group holds the economy. As for me, my power is only second to theirs. Therefore, even though I despise the Black Leopard gang's actions, I must endure as long as they don't go too far. Qin Lei outlined the worst-case scenarios if he acted unilaterally. Li Yi immediately understood the problem. So Chairman Qin means you don't want the Qin family to get involved in this? Qin Lei merely let out a subtle snort. Then he placed a hand on Li Yi's shoulder, making a surprising offer. No. I want you and Qin to form a new force to deal with the Black Leopard gang. Li Yi frowned. Chairman Qin wants to play a proxy war? Clever, Qin Lei declared. I will provide money and people. You and Qin will execute it. That way, the other two families won't dare to act rashly. Even if you fail, I can still step in to protect you. Li Yi secretly admired him. To have calculated so deeply in just one night. Chairman Qin is truly impressive. But then Qin Lei mumbled his true thoughts, loud enough for Li Yi to hear. If my daughter wasn't so insistent on following him, I wouldn't even care. Spending money and effort, only for her to run off with some guy, that would be a huge loss. Or maybe I should just tie this brat up and throw him away. Sweat dripped down Li Yi's temples. Chairman Qin, could you please not make your thoughts so obvious? Immediately, Qin rushed forward, yelling loudly as she dragged Qin Lei out of the room. Qin Shaoshang, get out of my sight! After slamming the door shut, Qin turned around, her eyes sharp. Li Yi, what's your next plan? Li Yi crossed his arms, a confident smile on his face. Take on missions, sweep through all open spatial gates. I will go through every spatial gate in High City. Qin didn't hesitate. All right, I'll make the arrangements. Darkness enveloped half of Li Yi's face, his eyes glowing with an eerie purple light. Once I connect these fragments, that will be the darkest hour for the Black Leopard Syndicate. In front of Li Yi and Qin was an army in neat uniforms. The masked man solemnly introduced, "These are all people I carefully selected. From now on, the Shadow Guard Corps will follow your orders." Immediately, the entire army bowed in unison towards Li Yi. "Greetings, leader." Qin smiled and explained, "Seeing as you couldn't decide on a name, I named them based on your skills." "What's wrong? Don't you like it?" Qin asked. Li Yi simply replied, "No, it's fine." But in Li Yi's eyes, a faint surge of dark purple energy flickered. Shadow Guard Corps. This name truly fit. The masked man continued to introduce, "They are all C rank. This is a formidable force anywhere." Even so, Li Yi still had a question. Why do they all wear masks? Qin calmly replied, "To avoid revealing their identities and being threatened." She winked playfully. "Besides, don't you think they look cool?" Li Yi retorted sarcastically. "It's probably not because the author is too lazy to draw many faces, is it?" After taking over the army, Li Yi asked about the next plan. Qin replied without hesitation, "Of course, we're going to steal jobs." Li Yi declared his goal. "I will take all the entrusted missions from the Black Panther gang." Qin was a little worried. "That's a huge amount of work. Can we handle it?" "Don't worry, we'll only take the valuable ones." Li Yi's eyes gleamed with calculation. "For the rest, I already have another plan." At the same time, elsewhere, a man slammed his hand on the table in anger, papers flying everywhere. "Useless! How could you let that upstart Shadow Guard Corps steal all the missions?" The boss with the mutton chops roared. "Do I have to teach you how to handle this? If they cause trouble, then send people to deal with them." The subordinate trembled and replied, "We can't deal with them." The weak reply only added fuel to the fire. The boss grabbed the subordinate's collar and growled. "What?" The subordinate stammered. "For every mission, no matter what, they send 5 to 6 C-rank evolvers. We don't have enough C-rank people." The explanation stunned the boss. Where did this damned gang come from, anyway? His rage erupted. He kicked the subordinate flying. "Then pay money to buy exploration slots. Send people in there, and find targets for me." The subordinate trembled and reported. "But all the recent exploration slots have been bought by others." The reply was a seething threat. "I don't care if you steal, rob, or pay a high price. Get people in there for me. If we miss out on these few days of profit, I'll hold you responsible." At the same time, in a luxurious villa, Li Yi and Qin were sitting opposite each other. "All right, I understand." Qin held up her phone, confirming. "The Black Panther gang bought our exploration slots at a high price. How were you so sure they would buy them? Li Yi smirked confidently. Because they won't give up the most lucrative profit opportunity this quarter. Seeing Qin's puzzled expression, he continued. This involves some unspoken rules of the mining area. Li Yi began to reveal the manager's tricks. To earn more money, the supervisors and foremen of various mines, big and small, would hide rare ores and items, then smuggle them out to sell during the end-of-quarter equipment inspection. Previously, the Black Panther gang planted spies by accepting guild commissions to pinpoint targets for looting. Since these goods couldn't be exposed, no one dared to report them even if they were stolen. Now that path has been cut off, of course they'll pay a high price for exploration slots to enter the other world. Qin was still skeptical, but even if we sell them those exorbitant slots, we'd only trick them out of a little money. Li Yi stood up, his back exuding an air of mystery. Of course, that's not all. I haven't been running around the other worlds just for fun lately. A swirling vortex of azure energy suddenly appeared in the middle of the living room, stunning Qin. This is an otherworld gate? Standing before the radiant gate, Li Yi calmly explained, I've marked all the otherworld entrances in High City. I can open small gates to them any time. Now we just need to track those who paid high prices for the exploration slots, and we can discover the Black Panther gang's targets. Qin exclaimed, her eyes shining brightly. Then we can attack them. Excellent. Li Yi turned back, his gaze serious. I don't want too many people to know about these entrances. Choose a few people you truly trust and have them wait here. Grabbing Li Yi's hand, Qin declared, I'm coming too. I like these heroic deeds. A confident smile bloomed on Li Yi's lips. All right then, let's crush them together. As soon as he finished speaking, a teleportation circle flared beneath their feet. Meanwhile, in a snow-covered canyon, a military truck was rolling along alone. Inside the cab, two men in protective gear were chatting. Old Wang, your cargo this trip is quite valuable. Don't worry, you'll get your share. But their conversation was suddenly cut short. The ground ahead trembled, and a sharp stone spike emerged, blocking the road. The driver hadn't even finished his thanks when the stone spike slammed into the front of the truck. Then, on behalf of my brothers, I thank you. Watch out! A desperate shout rang out, but it was too late. The other man panicked, not understanding what was happening. A series of other stone spikes simultaneously emerged from the ground, tightly encircling the truck like a death cage. The terrifying impact sent those inside flying, and the cargo overturned. The truck lost control, crashed into the cliff face, its body dented and twisted. Hurriedly jumping out of the cabin, the bewildered group checked their surroundings. What happened? Is there anything wrong with the cargo? A strange voice echoed from behind. The cargo is definitely fine. The group startled and turned around, facing an uninvited guest. The man smirked, his eyes filled with murderous intent. But soon enough, you yourselves will be the ones with problems. With a wave of his hand, countless blood-stained stone spikes flew into the air, aiming directly at the group. Realizing the enemy was an ascended, they fled in terror. Run! The attacker's smile grew even more savage. Don't run, you trash. I'm not done playing yet. Amidst the chaotic scene, a cold voice rang out, interrupting the rampage. Let me play with you. Suddenly, Li Yi appeared like a ghost, activating Shadow Step. The thug hadn't even registered it. Rage flared in the attacker's eyes. What dog crawled out to ruin my fun? But Li Yi was already close, his purple eyes flashing with deadly intent. Robbery is one thing. Li Yi's speed was terrifyingly fast, leaving the other man no time to react. But playing with human lives isn't good. With that, Li Yi grabbed his opponent and delivered a devastating slam. A terrifying sound echoed as the thug was slammed straight onto the hard ground, causing the earth to crack. Lying sprawled on the ground, he trembled and stammered, trying to salvage some dignity. You. Who are you? If you're smart, don't touch me. My brothers around here won't let you off. Li Yi merely sneered. You mean these D-rank guys? Behind him, Qin and her subordinates had already neatly dealt with all of the thug's accomplices. The attacker was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. Qin coldly approached Li Yi, asking for instructions. What about these people? Kill them all? No, Li Yi replied, a surge of dark energy gathering in his hand. Killing them would be too easy for the Black Panther. I have a better way. Li Yi's hand clamped onto the thug's face, dark energy eroding his mind. A crazed, agonizing scream echoed. Grabbing the hair of the completely broken man, Li Yi leaned close to his ear, enunciating each word. Go tell Black Panther. All of this was done by Li Yi of the Shadow Squad. At a hospital, the atmosphere was eerily silent. In the hospital room, the leader of the Black Panther gang roared in fury upon seeing his subordinates' ravaged bodies. Shadow Squad! Li Yi! How can a mere minor be so strong? A subordinate reported the dire situation. The problem is, they look fine on the outside, but in reality, all of them have broken bones throughout their bodies. Even with the best resources, it will take half a year to recover. He continued to mutter about the enormous cost. At least 5 million per person. 6 people is 30 million. Just then, a new message was sent. The subordinate read the message, his face changing color. Our other 2 groups also failed. The report was like a thunderclap. What? The boss grabbed his subordinate's collar, growling. Who did it? The other man trembled as he replied. It was Li Yi. Impossible, the boss roared, disbelieving his ears. 3 dimensions, hundreds of kilometers apart. Even if Li Yi could fly, he couldn't be in all places at once. But the subordinate affirmed it firmly, his hands trembling as he held up the tablet. But it really was Li Yi himself. Our people even secretly recorded a video clip. The video opened to a chaotic scene. Li Yi stood amidst Black Panther's subordinates, who were screaming in despair. Li Yi's face was as cold as ice, his eyes devoid of emotion. Suddenly, Li Yi realized he was being secretly filmed. Are you secretly recording? His words made those still standing retreat in fear. He looked directly into the camera, a provocative smile on his lips, as if speaking directly to the one behind it all. Black Panther, your men really can't take a hit. Why don't you come here yourself? The provocation continued from the screen. With so many subordinates needing a year or 2 of treatment, you'll be spending quite a bit, won't you? The boss gnashed his teeth. His rage exploded. The boss let out a guttural roar, crushing the tablet with all his might. At the same time, at a warehouse district on the outskirts, Li Yi, Qin, and the masked man were standing inside a deserted warehouse. Qin spoke up, asking, Li Yi, why are we at this warehouse? Li Yi calmly explained. I was tracking Kuei Shihao earlier and accidentally discovered the Black Panther gang's warehouse right next door. We've been disrupting his business for the past few days, so I bet he'll personally lead a team here next time. Qin looked surprised by Li Yi's plan. You want to raid his warehouse while he's away? Just then, the phone in Li Yi's pocket suddenly rang. Receiving the report, Li Yi coldly ordered. Boss Li, Black Panther and his men have arrived at Dimension 3. Good, keep tracking them. Hanging up, Li Yi revealed his true intention. To ensure absolute safety, I'll go harass him a bit to buy you some time. Qin worried. But Black Panther is a B rank. Maybe let Duanao go with you. Li Yi firmly refused. No need. I don't intend to confront him directly. Bringing Duanao would only be a hindrance. Magical energy began to gather in Li Yi's palm. A spatial gate opened. Li Yi reassured his 2 companions before stepping in. Don't worry. Even if there's danger, I can use this teleportation gate to return quickly. Meanwhile, in a desolate dimension, the Black Panther gang was harvesting their spoils. We hit the jackpot. This haul is all top-notch. A subordinate flattered the leader. You're truly different, boss. As soon as you appeared, Li Yi and his men didn't even dare to show their faces. The leader crossed his arms, his face full of disdain. Just a few petty miners, even with a few C-rank helpers, what can they possibly do? But his smile suddenly vanished. A sense of unease washed over him. The leader spun around, his gaze sharp. Who's there? Immediately, one of his subordinates was suddenly bound by dark tendrils. Li Yi had appeared at some point, controlling his prey. A B-rank senses are indeed sharp. The leader roared in shock. Li Yi, surrounded by enemies, Li Yi remained calm. Why the tension? I'm just a small miner. The subordinate frantically called for help, but Li Yi coldly delivered a final warning to the leader. It's best not to act rashly. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what he might lose. Ignoring the warning, the leader unleashed a blazing fireball, aiming it directly at both Li Yi and the subordinate. Then you 2 can die together. The flames engulfed both, and the subordinate's desperate scream echoed. But on Li Yi's face was only a cold smile. When the flames dissipated, there was no one there. The subordinate reported in astonishment. Boss, he's gone. Li Yi's mocking voice suddenly rang out from behind. Not even sparing your own underlings, truly a good boss. Enraged, the leader roared, the flames in his hand flaring up fiercely again. You rat who only knows how to run. He froze, as if he had just heard something. The subordinate who had been burned earlier was not quite dead, gasping in the flames. Boss Black Panther, you missed. Li Yi reappeared, his hand already close to another subordinate. Being your subordinate is truly a high-risk job, don't you think? Cruelty was evident in his bloodshot eyes. As long as I kill you, what does it matter if a few underlings die? He roared, pouring all his strength into a destructive attack. Let's see where you'll dodge this time. Fire tornado. A gigantic fire tornado erupted, sweeping through everything, sparing none of the subordinates who were frantically fleeing. Amidst the sea of flames, Li Yi casually put his hands in his pockets, ignoring the desperate screams around him. Just as the tornado reached its peak, Li Yi's figure once again dissolved into the ground. The rage subsided, leaving only emptiness. The leader screamed in despair. Li Yi, you worm who only knows how to hide, get out here. From a safe place, Li Yi observed everything. He secretly calculated. A B rank truly cannot be underestimated. The time is almost ripe. A mysterious smile appeared. I wonder what kind of expression you'll have when you return. At the same time, in an unfamiliar warehouse, a terrifying scream echoed, signaling an unusual incident had just occurred. The subordinate tremblingly reported the failure. It was the Shadow Gang and the young lady of the Chin family. Boss Black Panther, there are 2 B ranks and over 10 C ranks. We couldn't do anything. The burly man growled, his anger evident. Couldn't do anything? Excellent. The subordinate frantically begged for his life. Without a word of explanation, punitive flames erupted, incinerating the failed subordinate amidst desperate screams. The burly man finally realized. No wonder Li Yi suddenly has so many helpers. So it's Chin. His eyes were bloodshot, murderous intent surging. Then don't blame me for being cruel. In another office, Kui Shihao ordered. This stops here, otherwise. The burly man roared in protest. Stop here? That entire warehouse is my fortune, worth billions. Kui Shihao coldly retorted. So what do you want? Do you want me to give you men to start a war with the Qin family? Even if Qin Shaoshang isn't in Haicheng right now, Qin is still someone we cannot touch. Kui Shihao placed his hand on the man's shoulder, his tone both admonishing and warning. Now is a critical time for the experiment. No matter how aggrieved you are, you must endure it for me. But his patience had run out. The burly man slapped Kui Shihao's hand away. Endure my ass. At worst, I'll kill Qin and Li Yi and leave Haicheng. Suddenly, he froze, a chilling sensation washing over him. A terrifying pressure emanated from Kui Shihao. Countless eerie specters appeared behind him, surrounding the burly man. If you insist on seeking revenge, I wouldn't mind silencing you right now, would I? Under that immense pressure, the burly man knelt, sweat pouring down him like rain. He could only stammer a single word. Sir. Kui Shihao retracted his aura, turned, and walked away. Don't ruin a big plan for a paltry sum of money. As long as the experiment succeeds, I'll be the first to help you wipe out the Qin family. The man could only mumble his obedience. Once Kui Shihao was out of sight, the burly man dared to punch the floor hard, grinding his teeth. Damn it! I've never suffered such humiliation in my entire life. Rage flared in the burly man's bloodshot eyes. Do you really think I can't deal with Qin without you, Kui Shihao? Meanwhile, on a bustling city street, inside a luxurious car, Qin smiled, suddenly mentioning a name. Li Yi is truly intelligent, don't you think? Duanao just smiled, signaling the driver. Drive faster, the young lady Mrs. Li Yi. Qin immediately protested. Duanao. With flushed cheeks, Qin turned away. When did I ever miss him? Duanao crossed his arms, casually exposing her. Since you woke up, in 1 hour, you've mentioned Li Yi 24 times, Qin hastily clarified. It's not like that. Li Yi is one of my few friends, so I just… Before she could finish, a colossal black shadow obscured the car window. A tanker truck sped towards them at terrifying speed. Without a second's hesitation, Duanao yelled, shielding Qin with his body as the window shattered. The horrific impact deformed the entire car, but Duanao's embrace remained as solid as a rock. The car was flung away like a toy, spinning multiple times on the road before coming to a stop as a pile of scrap metal. From the overturned tanker truck, liquefied gas began to leak, spraying straight into the air, signaling an impending disaster. Amidst the hazy smoke, Duanao helped Qin out of the wrecked car. Young lady, are you all right? Qin calmly replied, just as a flame erupted from the pool of fuel. The fire spread rapidly, turning the accident scene into a sea of flames. Amidst the chaos, a figure slowly approached. Qin's eyes narrowed, a murderous glint flashing. She knew this was no accident. The figure emerged from the misty rain. It was the burly man. He sneered. Miss Qin, long time no see. Immediately, the bodyguards drew their weapons, forming a protective barrier in front of Qin. Protect the young lady. Despite the bodyguard barrier, Qin smirked provocatively. Black Panther, aren't you overestimating yourself? You dare to lay a hand on me with just a few guys like these? But in an instant, the confident expression on Qin's face vanished, replaced by extreme panic, as a strange sensation washed over her. Duanao immediately realized the problem. What's going on? There's something wrong with the rainwater. In response to their confusion, the burly man smirked, his eyes glowing red. If I wasn't sure of victory, why would I dare to lay a hand on you? He revealed the deadly trap. The rainwater they were exposed to was the venom of the phantom spider, potent enough to incapacitate an A-rank individual within 10 hours. Around them, the bodyguards began to collapse one by one. Without a moment's hesitation, Duanao pushed Qin behind him. Young lady, run! The burly man lunged like a beast, delivering a devastating blow to Duanao. A steel fist clamped around his throat, lifting Duanao into the air. Quite loyal, aren't we? But throughout history, those loyal to their masters have never met a good end. A ferocious flame erupted, incinerating the bodyguard amidst heart-wrenching screams. Helplessly kneeling on the ground, Qin could only watch in horror as her loyal bodyguard was burned to ashes. Duanao. Meanwhile, in another location, the scene was completely peaceful. Outside a villa, Li Yi stood in the training yard, gripping a dark, short sword. Dark energy surged out, enveloping his body. Shadow step. In a flash, Li Yi's figure transformed into a black streak, gliding at terrifying speed, leaving sharp cuts on the rows of wooden stakes. He stopped, his purple eyes glowing brightly amidst the intricate energy trails, a testament to a power that was growing stronger by the day. Splintered wood fragments scattered, the result of a powerful training session. Jing Tian appeared, offering a comment. Xiao Yi, you're becoming more proficient with your abilities. Li Yi replied. I'm at least C rank now. Can you please stop calling me that? Suddenly, the phone rang, interrupting their conversation. Li Yi was surprised to see Qin's name as the caller. He answered the call, while Jing Tian continued to mumble. What's so great about C rank? You're just a slightly stronger ant. But the image on the screen stunned Li Yi, who instinctively plunged his sword into the ground. A strange man was grabbing Qin's hair, grinning provocatively through the video call. Kid, look who I'm with. It was Qin, completely restrained. Li Yi's face darkened, his purple eyes blazing with murderous intent. Black Panther, what the hell are you doing? The man sneered. What I want to do depends on how important Qin is to you. I'm giving you two choices. 1. Bring 10 billion as her ransom. 2. Watch me torture her to death. Amidst desperate tears, Qin tried to warn him. Li Yi, don't listen to him. This is a trap. Without a moment's hesitation, Li Yi growled, his eyes turning icy blue. I'll bring the 10 billion. Where's the exchange? The man laid out his conditions, with Qin unconscious beside him. Within 1 hour, bring 10 billion to my warehouse. Come alone. If you inform the Qin family, they won't survive either. The call ended. Jing Tian immediately tried to dissuade him. With your current strength, I advise you not to go throw your life away. But Li Yi was resolute, his gaze terrifyingly firm. Abandoning a comrade is something I cannot do. Besides, it's not certain who will die. At a deserted warehouse district, the deadly trap had been set. Li Yi faced an entire gang alone. The leader sat casually on a chair, his tone disdainful. Kid, you've got guts. Where's the money I want? In response, Li Yi didn't flinch, his gaze sharp. I want to see Qin first. The leader smirked, signaling his subordinates. Bring Miss Qin out. The creaking sound of a pulley echoed, and a crane hook slowly descended from above. That sound startled Li Yi, who looked up. Suspended in mid-air, tightly bound by cables, was Qin. She struggled in despair, her mouth gagged, her eyes burning with indignation. Seeing Qin was still safe, Li Yi calmed down, gently touching his ear. Open storage space. Immediately, before everyone's astonished eyes, a colossal mountain of cash appeared out of thin air. The subordinates swarmed to check, cheering joyfully. Boss, it's real money. Li Yi looked directly at the leader, his voice cold. The money's been received. Can you release Qin now? The leader sprang to his feet, his smile turning sinister. The only reason I haven't killed you yet is because I hadn't seen the money. Now, do you really think you can leave here alive? But Li Yi had anticipated this betrayal. I knew you wouldn't keep your word. In his hand, a small device clicked. A blinding flash of light suddenly erupted from the pile of money, dazzling everyone. At the same time, Li Yi activated Shadow Step, his body dissolving into the darkness. Immediately after, a terrifying explosion engulfed the entire area. As the smoke and dust from the explosion gradually cleared, the burly leader looked around angrily. Damn it, where did he go? From within the hazy dust cloud, Li Yi suddenly lunged out like a ghost. His pitch-black blade aimed straight for the leader's heart. The leader didn't flinch. He easily parried the attack, a blazing vortex of fire forming in his hand. You think this sneak attack can take me down? Facing the flames, Li Yi only responded with an icy gaze. Didn't your teacher tell you not to play with fire when the air is full of dust? In that moment, the leader froze as he realized his opponent's intention. A terrifying dust explosion erupted from his own flames, engulfing everything in a fierce inferno. Amidst the chaotic scene, Qin could only helplessly stare towards the explosion. A silent scream caught in her throat. Li Yi! But a pitch-black slash tore through space, freeing Qin from her restraints. She lost her balance, falling straight down from above. In that moment of freefall, Qin squeezed her eyes shut, awaiting the painful impact. But instead, she felt a steady embrace. Opening her eyes, Qin couldn't help but be stunned. Li Yi had saved her. and both were now safely seated on the back of a mighty flying dragon. This is, from a distance, a cloaked figure witnessed the entire scene. A flying dragon. A spatial rift. That kid Li Yi really keeps his skills hidden well. On the ground, a man in a gray suit roared furiously. I've got you now. Everything will be mine. Meanwhile, a subordinate reported fearfully. Boss. More than half of our men are injured. Despite the losses, the burly leader roared, ordering his remaining forces. Anyone who can still move, chase them. Don't let them escape. The burly man, leading the pursuers, roared his command. Hurry up. Don't let them escape. On the back of the flying dragon, Qin looked worriedly at Li Yi. What do we do? The Black Panther's men have broken in. In contrast to Qin's panic, Li Yi remained completely calm. It's fine. It's just in time for those Black Panther guys to take care of some trouble for me. Li Yi turned to reassure Qin. You go hide with the flying dragon first. Leave the rest to me. Qin still hesitated. But, without a moment's hesitation, Li Yi jumped off the flying dragon's back, leaving a firm assurance. Don't worry, I'll be fine. As soon as he landed, Jing Tian appeared, exposing Li Yi's plan. Kid, did you intentionally leave the entrance open to use them to help you clear the second floor? Li Yi calmly admitted. That's right. You never said I had to clear the second floor by myself. Jing Tian seemed amused. You certainly know how to bend the rules. Li Yi explained his motivation. Mainly because the second floor's reward is too tempting. Armor that can withstand A-rank attacks is a true treasure. Just then, a fierce wall of fire erupted, destroying the gate behind Li Yi. Li Yi merely smirked, as if he had anticipated this. The Black Panther gang is truly cautious. From behind the wall of fire, the entire Black Panther group appeared on a raised platform, blocking Li Yi's retreat. Li Yi, you've run out of places to run now, haven't you? Darkness swirled around his hand, and Li Yi responded with a challenging question. Why should I run? I've already rescued Qin Yin, and now, it's conveniently time to deal with all of you. The leader of the Black Panther gang burst into arrogant laughter. It seems you're truly insane. He turned to encourage his subordinates. Don't be afraid. He's alone. Let's finish him together, then go find Qin Yin. A wicked glint flashed in his eyes. By then, I'll let my brothers have a taste of the Qin family's young miss. Hearing the vile words, Li Yi smirked, his purple eyes glowing eerily. In terms of numbers, I may not be your equal. But in other aspects, that's a different story. He swung his hand, tearing open space with a surge of darkness. Everyone, come out and greet our esteemed guest. From the deep darkness, countless pairs of red, glowing eyes like embers simultaneously opened, fixing on the terrified group of people. A winged serpent, a spiky turtle monster, and a fiery minotaur appeared simultaneously, blocking Li Yi's path. Welcome to my trial. The smug smiles on the kidnappers' faces froze, replaced by expressions of utter horror. The warning was uttered too late. The monster army charged, sweeping through and turning the hall into a chaotic battlefield. Amidst the chaos, the undercut-haired leader growled Li Yi's name, a fireball beginning to form in his palm. He roared, throwing the massive fireball towards one of the shadow creatures. Stop right there! But his only reply was a resounding roar. The shadow creature had no intention of dodging. The fireball exploded, creating a terrifying wave of heat that enveloped its opponent. Witnessing the attack, Li Yi merely smirked. Oh, going all in, are we? Dark energy surged around Li Yi's fist as the shadow manifestation skill was activated. Darkness condensed into a gigantic warhammer. Then let me draw all the hatred towards myself. He let out a roar, swinging the massive hammer directly at the blazing fireball. Explode for me! The extremely powerful recoil forced Li Yi to brace himself. Wow. Incredible power. A B-rank attack truly cannot be underestimated. At the same time, the lava minotaur swung its battle axe, shattering the henchman's defenses. Black Panther stood firm like a rock amidst the explosions, while Li Yi struggled to defend himself against the monster's power. He smirked, flames flaring in his hand. To withstand one of my attacks, you do have some skill, but in that state, how many more hits can you take? Li Yi knelt on one knee, breathing heavily, but his eyes were still full of defiance. One is enough. Li Yi's eyes suddenly flashed with an eerie blue light, a confident smile clearly visible. Don't believe me? Just look around. At Li Yi's words, Black Panther turned around and was stunned. His army had been replaced by a new horde of monsters, lava minotaurs, thunder king serpents, and dark phantoms. The smug look on Black Panther's face vanished, replaced by utter bewilderment. This is, without giving his opponent time to compose himself, Li Yi turned and fled, tossing back a concise remark. You take your time playing. I'm leaving first. Realizing he had been tricked, Black Panther roared. Damn it! That brat tricked me again. His rage flared, and he yelled at the monsters surrounding him. "You beasts, get out of my way!" A massive fireball exploded from Black Panther, blasting everything around him away. Held back, Black Panther could only roar his enemy's name in helplessness. "Li Yi, I swear I'll tear you to shreds." The venomous curse echoed throughout the ruined sanctuary. Meanwhile, Li Yi and Jing Tian had entered the core area of the second floor. He still had some doubts. "You're not tricking me again, are you?" Before them was a desolate wasteland. "Is there really A-rank attack-resistant armor ahead?" Jing Tian replied. "Why would I trick you? That's the reward for clearing the second floor." Li Yi stood in the new space, sensing an unusual energy. The journey was not yet over. Amidst the desolate wasteland, Li Yi noticed a strange creature. Jing Tian spoke in a somber tone. "That is, Ji Ming, the manager of the second floor. It seems he finally died of old age. After you've dealt with the Black Panther situation, could you give him a proper burial for me?" Jing Tian unexpectedly made a request. Li Yi didn't hesitate. "Certainly. Leave it to me." Before Ji Ming's remains, Jing Tian softly uttered a single word. "Thank you." A moment of silence passed. Then Jing Tian turned, his purple eyes glowing brightly as he looked forward. "Let's go. The armor is right ahead." He led the way, advancing deeper into the dead land with Li Yi. Suddenly, both of them stopped. A heavy pressure had just appeared. On a floating rock, a figure clad in full armor stood tall, exuding a dark and ancient aura. Li Yi was astonished. "This is the shadow armor you mentioned?" Jing Tian merely gave a slight nod of confirmation. "Not bad. Not as bad as I imagined." Jing Tian mumbled, then glanced at Li Yi. "It's a pity this kid is only at the second stage of shadow enhancement. If he were at the third stage then," he continued his thoughts. "But even if he reached the third stage, facing armor that can resist A-rank attacks, he probably wouldn't give up, would he?" Noticing the abnormality, Li Yi turned and asked, "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing. Take your reward." Jing Tian snapped. His increasingly strange attitude made Li Yi frown in confusion. Just then, the gauntlet of the armor subtly moved. Quick as lightning, a cold, iron hand clamped tightly around Li Yi's throat, catching him completely off guard. The armor bent down, a voice echoing from within the helmet, carrying the longing of millennia. "It's been so many years. I thought you would never return." "My master!" Completely bewildered by the declaration of loyalty, Li Yi could only utter, "What is this?" "Ji Ming." However, the voice from the armor was full of disdain. Who would have thought, the master who once stood so high above all, now has to parasitize a C-rank creature like this? Li Yi growled, struggling in vain. "Ji Ming, I order you to stop." The only reply was a cold sneer. "Order me? By what right do you order me?" The armor growled, disappointment evident in its voice. "My soul slept within this armor only to await your return and prolong my life. But you have disappointed me. Only a shattered fragment of a soul returned." Dark energy erupted, tightening its grip on Li Yi. "Then I have no choice but to refine you." Li Yi's painful scream echoed as the dark energy encroached. In despair, he roared a name. "Jing Tian!" Amidst the mind-shattering pain, Li Yi made a life-or-death gamble. "Jing Tian, if I give you control of my body, can you defeat this guy?" A voice echoed in his head, full of doubt. "You. Aren't you afraid I'll take the opportunity to seize your body completely?" Despite the precarious situation, a smirk flashed across Li Yi's lips. "Is this really the time for jokes? If you could take full control, you wouldn't have returned my body to me in the first place." Jing Tian's silhouette appeared behind Li Yi, seemingly convinced by his recklessness. Li Yi roared, pouring all his will into a single command. "Do it!" His eyes flared with an eerie purple light, signaling that the transfer of control was complete. A massive surge of energy erupted from Li Yi's body, blasting the armor away. Jing Tian, now in Li Yi's body, coldly stared at the enemy. "With only a remnant soul, you possess only A-rank power. Why struggle in vain?" Despite the warning, Jing Tian proudly declared, "Even if it's just A-rank, it's enough to deal with you." Dark energy spread, transforming the surrounding space. The armor was stunned, realizing, a shadow domain? Immediately, Jing Tian deployed a Tier 2 shadow domain, turning the battlefield into his home ground. Recognizing the nature of the skill, the armor sneered. "So it's just a Tier 2 trick. I can't believe you held back, not teaching me all the shadow skills." In response to the provocation, Jing Tian merely smirked. "That's not the only thing I held back." Countless dark blades materialized simultaneously. A rain of blades poured down, but the entity within the armor remained calm. So what? It swung its greatsword, confident that Jing Tian's fatal weakness was exposed. This body can't withstand a Tier 3 skill, but Jing Tian had no intention of confronting it directly. With a shadow warp, He narrowly dodged the blade. The missed attack stunned the armor. What skill is this now? Jingtian continued to press his attack, but each of his blows was easily blocked by the greatsword. After a few clashes, the armor realized the truth. You can't even maintain this Tier 2 state for long. Within the consciousness space, Li Yi's soul was straining to endure. Jingtian asked, Li Yi, can you still hold on? Though sweat poured down, Li Yi gritted his teeth and replied, It's fine, I can still take it. That struggle only earned a smug smile from the enemy. Attacks of this caliber can't even break through the armor's defenses. Realizing that relentless attacks were ineffective, Jingtian temporarily retreated, landing lightly on the ground, calculating his next move. Refusing to back down, Jingtian roared, diving straight down from above. Then I'll force you out. A terrifying impact cracked the ground, shaking it violently. However, the black armor stood firm, using its greatsword to block Jingtian's attack. Immediately, Jingtian shifted stance, unleashing a devastating punch to the armor's face. A second punch followed immediately, its power compressed to the extreme. Under the immense pressure, the armor began to be pushed back. Just a little more. Jingtian gritted his teeth, pouring all his strength into the decisive blow. But at that moment, Li Yi's consciousness surged in resistance. Jingtian snapped, I'm fine. He knew well that if he continued, the overloaded energy would incinerate both this soul and body. That momentary hesitation became a fatal opening. The armor, along with a mysterious entity behind it, sneered, missing this chance for a worthless creature. Since when did you become so ridiculous? The taunt was like adding fuel to the fire. Jingtian clicked his tongue, his eyes blazing with extreme anger. Seizing the opportunity, the armor raised its hand, dark energy gathering. Then don't blame me. A massive purple energy blast shot out, tearing through space. Caught by surprise, Jingtian couldn't react in time. Bound tightly by dark chains, the armor stood there, looking at its ensnared prey. I've got you. Bound tightly, Jingtian struggled frantically in vain. He glared at the traitor, his voice full of sarcasm. Heh. I never thought the day would come when the dog I raised would bite me back. The armor's soul separated from its metallic shell, joyfully declaring, Finally, I can truly live again. Amidst the chaotic space, Li Yi watched the scene before him in stunned silence. Rage flared in his eyes. Li Yi roared a name. Chaotic entity. The armor turned, the soul within it whispering the name of its new target host. Li Yi. Seeing Li Yi in danger, Jingtian growled a warning. Run. But Li Yi ignored him, charging straight towards the armor. Let him go. Li Yi's fist collided with the cold metal. The armor spoke with disdain. How touching. One worries about the other's soul being incinerated, and dares not use full power. The other is clearly just an ant, yet still dares to attack me. Without the slightest effort, the armor flung Li Yi away like a cheap toy. Li Yi was sent flying, fresh blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. Seeing that, Jingtian screamed in despair. You're just C rank. Stop being an eyesore here. Get out. Li Yi's eyes glowed with a demonic purple light, energy cracks spreading across his skin. From the very beginning, you treated me like a slave. Fragments of memories flooded back. You forced me to fight your soldiers, compelled me to level up. Every step until now, you made me obey. Li Yi gritted his teeth, enunciating each word. Now, whether I stay or go, is my decision. With that, Li Yi erupted with dark energy, charging straight towards the black armor. A devastating punch landed squarely on the enemy. Jingtian appeared from behind Li Yi. Before, I could absorb energy to kill the blood leopard. Today, I can also help you eliminate this traitor. The black armor sneered. Eliminate me? Let's see how long your body can last. Fool. Do you really want to explode into pieces? None of your business, Li Yi roared, ignoring the warning. Li Yi's furious scream echoed as he poured all his strength into the attack. But the price was too high. Li Yi's body began to crack, disintegrating under the immense pressure. My body. Is it falling apart? Even so, Li Yi didn't stop. Swinging his cracked fist forward, the black armor looked at him with pity. The foolish creature you chose is quite endearing. What is this? Self-destruction? It grabbed Li Yi, its tone condescending. Li Yi. Stop struggling. Just obediently become my nourishment, the black armor declared, beginning to drain the dark energy from Li Yi's body. The armored figure's smile turned maniacal, as power surged into its body. A sinister laugh echoed. Before it, Li Yi's body had completely disintegrated, leaving only a spreading puddle of darkness on the ground. But suddenly, that puddle of darkness began to churn, swelling into a colossal wave of energy. The triumphant look on the black armor's face vanished, replaced by extreme astonishment. What the hell is happening? The black armor was stunned by the terrifying sight. Eternal night? An eternal night created by the dark domain? Impossible, it muttered, disbelieving its eyes. I haven't even finished refining entropic. Could this dark domain be caused by? A cold voice echoed from the heart of the energy storm. I already told you. Amidst the chaotic darkness, Li Yi reappeared, his eyes glowing with a demonic purple, that I would destroy you. With that, a surge of dark energy shot straight from Li Yi's hand, knocking back the black armor. The impact left the armor stunned, unable to believe the power it had just faced. An information panel appeared before it, explaining Li Yi's new skill, Dark Domain. Horror was evident on the armor's face as it read the last line. Tier 3? Li Yi floated amidst the devoured souls, his voice full of insight. So this is where the power of the Dark Domain comes from souls. He looked directly at the armor, his tone sarcastic. No wonder you're so afraid of its power. A meaningful smile appeared on Li Yi's lips. I'm truly curious. What would you do without that armor? Immediately, Li Yi unleashed a destructive attack, a colossal beam of energy shooting straight forward. The black armor narrowly dodged, the purple light sweeping past where it had just stood. But Li Yi was already waiting there, fist ready. Get out of that armor, right now. Li Yi's dark energy-infused fist delivered a devastating blow to the enemy. Li Yi's attack only shook the ground. The armor still stood firm without a scratch. From within, the enemy's voice rang out arrogantly, scoffing at Li Yi for being only a C rank. This armor can withstand even A rank attacks. In response, Li Yi merely smirked. If I can't break it from the outside, then I'll just change my approach. With that, Li Yi transformed into a stream of darkness, rushing straight forward, causing the enemy to exclaim in surprise. How reckless! Dark tentacles stretched out, clinging tightly to the armor. Li Yi materialized right in front of the enemy, his dark energy completely enveloping the metallic shell. But instead of attacking, the dark tendrils snaked through the gaps, infiltrating inside. The enemy was aghast. Impossible. A piercing scream echoed from within the armor. Its soul was torn apart from within by Li Yi's dark energy, its face contorted in extreme pain. Dark energy erupted, shattering the armor from the inside out. The gray-skinned entity was flung out, its perfect defense now just a pile of scrap metal. Li Yi stood amidst the wreckage, exposing the enemy's weakness. So this is why you hid in the armor. It absorbs dark energy to compensate for the damage to your soul. Without the armor, the entity knew it had only one path: death. It turned to flee, but Li Yi had already set a trap. Trying to run? Dark chains tightened, blocking all escape routes. Do you think I'd give you that chance? The dark pincers tightened, trapping Jing Tian in despair. Bound tightly, Jing Tian stubbornly uttered threats. Now Jing Tian has merged with my soul. Attack it, and you will also be harmed. But Li Yi merely replied coldly, exposing its arrogance. Have you forgotten? A soul is dark energy, and now, you've lost your protective shell. With that, dark energy began to corrode Jing Tian's body. A daring thought flashed through Li Yi's mind. Instead of destroying it, he chose to devour it. Then why don't you become nourishment for my advancement? Being devoured, Jing Tian screamed, trying to sway Li Yi. Ji Ming, you've underestimated this guy's thirst for power. Don't be complacent. It tried to sow doubt. Once he rapidly levels up by devouring me. Do you really think he'll spare you? No living creature can resist the temptation of desire. Jing Tian's venomous curse echoed as its body disintegrated. Mind-shattering pain surged. Li Yi let out a piercing scream, his body writhing during the absorption process. A terrifying surge of dark energy erupted, flattening everything around. At the epicenter, a new form was gradually reshaping itself. New power surged through his veins. Li Yi felt the realm he had just reached. So this is what B rank feels like? His gaze sharpened, locking onto the remaining target. Jing Tian, now then, it's your turn. Amidst the chaotic energy, a voice echoed from the shadows. Li Yi. In response to the call, there was only Li Yi's smug smile. The shadow entity roared a desperate command. Let go. Li Yi suddenly understood everything. So this is what Ji Ming called continuing life, huh? You used your domain ability to seal your soul into this armor, turning this pile of scrap metal into a new body. Ji Ming's soul and the armor had merged, creating a powerful A-rank warrior, but Li Yi flatly refused. Your soul is both dark and filthy. Absorbing it would probably give me a fatal stomachache. As soon as he finished speaking, the shadow energy dissipated. Besides, this armor is too big and ugly. I don't like wearing it. Consider it me returning a favor to you. Meanwhile, in a ruined sanctuary, a subordinate of Black Panther desperately cried for help as he was constricted by a python. Furious flames erupted around Black Panther, who spread his arms like a judging deity. Just endure it. I'll end your suffering right now. But those flames were not meant to save anyone. A desperate scream echoed as the python ended the subordinate's life. Leaving his subordinate to die, Black Panther coldly uttered. A useless piece of trash. Is it worth saving? Suddenly, a strange killing intent made Black Panther turn around, stunned to see two figures entering through the main door. Li Yi casually walked forward, the shadow armor silently following behind him. As expected of a B rank, even these monsters couldn't do anything to you. The appearance of his sworn enemy made Black Panther roar in anger, his eyes bloodshot. Li Yi, in response to Black Panther's fury, the shadow armor simply stood silently, shielding Li Yi. Inside the cold iron armor, glowing purple eyes lit up menacingly. Without an unnecessary movement, the armor delivered a kick, its power sending Black Panther flying like a toy. Black Panther skidded across the floor, barely managing to stop. He realized his opponent's rank in horror. That's an A rank. Seeing his subordinates sprawled on the ground, Black Panther gritted his teeth. Dealing with Li Yi alone was already difficult, and now an A rank powerhouse had appeared. However, Li Yi turned to his own bodyguard, speaking with a sarcastic tone. For you to make a move, wouldn't that be bullying them too much? With that, Li Yi cracked his knuckles, his eyes full of provocation. An opponent at this level is just enough for me to warm up. The insult was like adding fuel to the fire. Black Panther roared, furious flames erupting around him. Use me to warm up? He believed that as long as he could get close to Li Yi, he would have a chance to win. Just need to catch you. Come on. In response to the challenge, Li Yi's eyes also glowed with an eerie purple light. He whispered, activating his own power. Shadow Domain, Black Panther sneered. These meaningless flashy tricks. Don't hide the fact that you're just a D rank. Li Yi shot through the air, a mass of purple energy gathering in his hand. Who said I'm still a D rank? Black Panther was stunned. A powerful surge of shadow energy was fired directly at Black Panther. The surprise attack struck Black Panther directly in the face, leaving him dazed. Black Panther's rage erupted. Being hit by someone he considered a mere insect was an unforgivable insult. Are you really looking down on me? In response to the challenge, Li Yi's eyes blazed with an eerie purple. Without another word, Li Yi charged forward, unleashing a torrent of wild shadow energy. The terrifying power sent Black Panther flying backward like a broken puppet. He was stunned, unable to believe what had just happened. E rank? How the hell did you reach B rank so fast? Li Yi stood there, shadow energy enveloping his body. I have all of you to thank for pushing me every step of the way. But Black Panther quickly cast aside his astonishment, replaced by extreme fury. So what if you're B rank? It means nothing. He roared, believing his pure strength would crush everything, but his punch was easily blocked by Li Yi. Taking advantage of the opening, Black Panther delivered a devastating uppercut, striking Li Yi. That blow seemed to awaken a deeply ingrained lesson. Jiming's voice echoed from the armor. In the shadow domain, you don't need to use your own energy. Instead, you control the energy around you, turning their power into your own. That is the true essence of shadow. And in that moment, a confident smile spread across Li Yi's face. I understand. He turned to the armor, his tone slightly teasing. But honestly, I'm still not used to you being such a serious teacher. Those words angered his training opponent. Learning on the fly? Do you think you're a genius? Die. He furiously unleashed fire, while Li Yi was ready to control the surrounding shadow energy. Shadow energy erupted, enveloping Li Yi. His eyes glowed with an eerie purple, completely unafraid of the flames. And make it my own. Fireballs collided with the shadow barrier, creating a series of terrifying tremors. But at the epicenter, Li Yi stood firm, completely unharmed. The long-haired man was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. What? Streams of dark energy swirled around Li Yi, bringing an intoxicating sense of power. This feeling, it's truly addictive. Without giving his opponent time to recover, Li Yi gathered energy in his palm, firing a powerful blast of darkness. The long-haired man reacted incredibly fast, leaning back to narrowly dodge the deadly projectile. The energy blast grazed past, shattering the floor behind him. Regaining the initiative, he smirked. Not bad power, but too bad you missed. Li Yi merely gave a faint smile, his eyes sharp as if he had calculated everything. Missed? I think dodging that attack has messed with your brain. That last move was just to line up your face with my fist. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Yi lunged forward, delivering a devastating punch. The punch, enveloped in darkness, slammed directly into his opponent's face. Get lost. The long-haired man was sent flying like a broken puppet, his painful scream echoing. He stumbled to the ground, his body aching. The physical shock was nothing compared to the confusion in his mind. How can this be? He gritted his teeth, his bloodshot eyes glaring at Li Yi with hatred and bewilderment. This kid keeps using skills, but his power isn't diminishing. It's getting stronger? Li Yi stood there, silently looking at the defeated foe at his feet with complete disappointment. Is this all you've got? Truly disappointing. Li Yi's gaze turned deadly, his voice devoid of emotion. The game is over. Cornered, the burly man roared in despair. I'll drag you down with me. The only response was Li Yi's icy gaze. Darkness surged, ready for the finishing blow. Without a wasted movement, Li Yi lunged, blades of shadow tearing through the air. The cuts were sharp, cold, and merciless. The burly man's final attack was neutralized in an instant. He only realized his defeat when the pain hit. His heavy body collapsed onto the cold stone floor. A sharp shadow blade pressed against his throat, stopping any attempt at resistance. He looked up, his eyes filled with resentment. Li Yi, go on, kill me. Li Yi smirked, his purple eyes flashing with contempt. You want to die? That would be too easy for you. Right now, you're more valuable alive than dead. Li Yi grabbed his collar, his voice full of calculation. The shadow armor appeared, questioning. Why keep this one alive? Li Yi calmly replied. To extract information about Qi Shi Hao from him, of course. The burly man sneered. Even if I die, I won't say anything. I know, but Qin Shaoshang will find a way to make you talk. The name instantly stunned him, his defiant expression vanishing. Panicked, he struggled in vain. Li Yi, you'd better let me go. The burly man's weak threat was choked by darkness. Li Yi coldly cut him off, not giving him a chance to say more. Otherwise, Qi Shi Hao and the NG group won't let you off. Turning his back on the defeated man, Li Yi declared firmly, Don't worry, even if they don't come looking for me, I'll go looking for them. The shadow armor appeared beside him, the soul of Ji Ming within speaking. I can help you deal with the NG group's A rank, as repayment. Li Yi glanced at him, his eyes full of calculation. Wait, until we find out whether Ning Donghao is involved or not. Don't act rashly. Dark energy surged around Li Yi's fist. Besides, when it comes to revenge, it's best to do it yourself. At the same time, at a military base, the atmosphere was tense. Rows of soldiers stood in formation under the pouring rain, awaiting orders. Inside a luxurious office, Ning Donghao anxiously looked outside. We've seen military movements all along the road. City Lord, do you have any inside information? Wu Tianchu, the powerful city lord, replied indifferently. How would I know? Looking at this situation, something must have happened. Ning Donghao turned to the other man, Qin Lei. Mr. Qin, your intelligence network is vast. Have you heard anything? Qin Lei replied coldly. Black Panther kidnapped Qin this morning. The girl is fine, and I've subdued him. As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Lei's hand clamped down on Ning Donghao's shoulder like a vice. Qin Lei's expression remained terrifyingly calm. How could I know what's happening in the military? Then he turned, facing Ning Donghao directly, his voice laced with killing intent. But Ning Donghao, if you can't control your dog, the knife-sharp gazes of the two most powerful men in Sea City met. I know how to discipline it. Cold sweat broke out on Ning Donghao's forehead. Chairman Qin, what do you mean? Qin Lei smirked, a smile devoid of warmth. It's best if you know nothing, otherwise I'll deal with you too. The atmosphere was tense as energy erupted around Qin Lei and Qi Shi Hao. Qin Shaoshang, aren't you overestimating your own strength? Qi Shi Hao growled. Qin Lei merely replied coldly. Just wait and see. But their confrontation caught Li Yi's eye. Seeing everyone so enthusiastic, I feel relieved. An authoritative voice rang out, cutting through the tension. Hong Jiangjun, Supreme Commander of Defense Zone 13, had arrived. But ensure that power is used appropriately, especially when a major disaster may be about to strike Sea City. The group was summoned to a private meeting room. Hong Jiangjun sat at the head of the table, his gaze stern. The reason I've called everyone here is for a matter of great importance. Hong Jiangjun ordered the person next to him. Explain. The man in the white lab coat immediately complied. Yes, sir. The man began his presentation, his tone serious. Everyone here became A rank after participating in the battle 10 years ago, fighting against creatures from the secondary spatial rift. Memories of the horrific battle flooded back. I don't need to describe the destructive power of the A and S rank creatures within that rift. We still don't know why that secondary rift suddenly appeared for a short time and then vanished. However, over the years, we have continuously monitored radiation fluctuations related to it. A map appeared, showing alarming signals. 5 years ago, those indicators reappeared. The frequency and intensity have steadily increased. In just the past 3 months, we've detected 5 peaks almost equivalent to those 10 years ago. This news made everyone present change color. Personal animosity was temporarily set aside, replaced by expressions full of anxiety. The bald man couldn't hide his astonishment, speaking up to confirm. Hong Jiangjun, are you saying? Hong Jiangjun leaned back in his chair, his voice deepening, carrying the weight of a dark prophecy. In other words, Sea City is very likely to experience a secondary spatial rift, and with that warning, an image of an army of monsters poised to rise from the darkness appeared. signaling an impending catastrophe.